What up, what up? Hey girl. Hey Deidre. How you doing, honey? Give me just a second. I am trying, for some reason, I'm an amateur. So I am currently trying to, I've set my chat to subscribers only mode. Being that people are more motivated to subscribe to your channel whenever it is set to subscribers only mode. So, but being that I'm just a teeny, just little speck on the spectrum, I think I need to swap it back. So I'm currently in the process of trying to figure that out. I'm trying to chat GPT it, you know. Hang on just a second. All right, let's see here. Content lab, go to live chat. Okay, go to live chat, change chat mode. On my active screen, okay. This is my active stream. All right. Give me just a second. Maybe I'm still not seeing it. I'm still not seeing it. Show more. Video details. Customization. Hang on. Here we go. I found it. All right. Now anybody can chat. As long as we don't have any crazies in the chat, you know what I'm saying? Like, as long as you guys be good. And I thought I had a pop-out live chat here. I'm good, honey. I'm good. I'm just, this is very, very frustrating sometimes, you know. Like I said, I'm an amateur. So, okay, this is what we're going to do. Hopefully we'll get some people filtering in here. It being a Saturday afternoon going on 4 o'clock, hopefully we'll get a few people in here. That way, you know, because the more people you have, the more ideas we can throw around. So let's, but I am going to go ahead and start. That's exactly what I'm going to do, because I've been preparing for this stream for a while. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead. I watched Baron Coleman's stream last night, right? It was pretty late when I watched it too. And it completely knocked my socks off. When I had first saw some of the pictures of Charlie whenever he was being carted out, you know, by security, I thought his hands looked a little weird. But you know what? I didn't think nothing of it, and I should have paid more attention to it. But I've seen plenty of people in my life that have had burns. Welts, burns. I mean, I've burnt myself. I don't know how many times. Like I've got scars all over myself, from burns, right? So I'm not going to go through. It's a 3-hour live stream, so you know I'm obviously not going to go through the whole 3 hours. I've got it time stamped here, so we're just going to cover. I'm going to comment on a few things that he's saying, because just to preface this a little bit, I do believe that this is what happened to Charlie, but the real question lies in how did it happen? Okay, why were we fed the fake narrative of him being pew-pewed, right? Of him being struck by a lead projectile? I can answer that too, pretty easily, actually. So, and I do have a bit of a delay. I apologize. I think it's only about 10 seconds. So it's a lot better than what it was the other day, right? Okay, there we go. All right. Now, Deidre, does my, let me ask you, does my mic sound okay? I need to just pop this chat out. That way I can keep up with it. That way you don't have to see me going back and forth and all this. Okay. All right. This is what we're going to do. All right. Let me swap over. Like I said, I'm an amateur. I'm new to this. But I'm telling you, not bad. I do pretty good for an amateur. Now, see, why is it still on there? Hang on. It does this to me all the time, to where it refuses to do right. Let me swap it over. There we go. All right. What is happening? Oh, brother. I would have to have complications as soon as I go live. I'm going to have to see. It did this to me the other day, and I don't know why. I can't. It literally just shrinks it. Hang on. Crap. This is crazy, dude. Like, I need to just start using StreamYard instead of this. I had it fit to size and everything. It looked good. Let's just do this. I'm gonna go ahead. It would have to do it as soon as I go live. Whenever I tested it earlier and it was fine. Let's do a new screen capture. All right, application, Safari. There we go. All right, now give me just a second and I can there we go. Here we go. Oh man, it's like, oh brother, look at you. What is happening? What is that? Let me delete that. Yes, I wish to delete that. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Let me shrink this down a little bit. And we're gonna blow it up. That's what I have to do with every time. Now, let's put this, is this in theater mode? Yeah, it is. Okay. Now, see, this is crazy. I don't understand why it does this crap. It's crazy. I tested I made sure. It was like, I made absolutely sure that everything was fine before I got started. Why does it keep doing that? Hang on. I promise you we're getting ready to begin. All right, now I can let's do this. Because I'm already on the, I'll slide that over just a little bit. You won't be able to see Baron, you'll just be able to see me, okay? Now, where did my live chat go? Oops. Show my windows. Oh, my Lord. I told you I'm an amateur. Okay. Now, let me put these suckers on where I can actually hear what I'm doing. All right. I don't know where the frickin' live chat just went. This is ridiculous. I popped it out, and I don't know where it went. I don't know where it got off to. Because it's, you know, this is pretty much useless if I can't chat with you, obviously. Restore. Yes, this is OBS, honey. Let me pop it back out now. All right. Now we're cooking with peanut oil. Now, let me put the chat on top. That way I can actually see it. Well, no, because if I do that, then you're going to be able to see it. I'll just have to go back and forth. How's that? That way we can discuss it. Yeah, see? Okay. I'm just going to shrink it. That's what I'm going to do. All right. Yeah. How about we do it like this? That way I can slide this up. That way I can talk to you, right? Okay. First of all, Deidre, I don't know if you've seen this or not. This completely blew me away. This completely blew me away. Now, this is Baron talking about Charlie being electrocuted. And he is going to show his hands here in just a few minutes. And he got electrocuted. There's absolutely no doubt, no shred of doubt in my mind that that's what happened. But I'm going to explain in this video, in this live stream, how, not how he got electrocuted, but how they'd be able to pull this off in terms of how they'd be able to actually fake a pew-pewing lead projectiles and actually make it look convincing, okay? Because in my opinion, what happened to his neck, I don't think that's real. And I'm going to show you and explain exactly how that's possible, because it is. It very well is, okay? Because there are certain technologies that I'm going to actually show you guys. Oh, you haven't seen it yet. This is gonna blow it right up. I'm telling you, this is crazy.
Only about 1 second of blood.
Deidre, you be my girl and be my person and let me know if this is too loud or not loud enough, okay? I would really appreciate it. You've been great. You've been so great. But just tell me if it's not loud enough or just too loud. I think I've got it jacked all the way up, so.
And gore in this. And I'll go back to the beginning. I'm going to hit mute so you guys don't hear all the background noise. I'll turn the sound back.
Now, this is where he points out that Cooper, the guy in the red, you're going to see him. He's the one that actually got exposed as the guy that ran up to the kid that was being interviewed. Remember this? And that he was trying to stop the interview. Cooper is the one that he zooms in on here in a minute, and he is running the sound, right? Or at least that's what it appears, that he's running the sound, and he keeps telling people to stop touching the microphones. Watch.
Towards the end. If you go back to the beginning, what we're just watching here is Charlie Kirk just, getting ready. The first guy's question, this is Henry Dell right here in the middle of the screen. You'll notice that and I want to point this out here. See the guy manning the microphone? Can we zoom in on him? Or is the screen not going to let us do that? We may not be able to do that. Let me see if I can bring it in and then zoom in on him. No, oh, there we go. See that guy right there in the red shirt manning the microphone? He was not a UVU student. He was not in the UVU TPUSA chapter. I think his name was Cooper something. He was manning the microphone. And I remember very early on, Candace made a deal about that. She said, well, this is weird. You have a non-student manning the microphone. And it turns out he worked, I think, for the Leadership Institute or something, which is, it's one of these groups that trains people to go out and work in public interest groups, right-wing public interest groups.
Right.
The Heritage Foundation, TPUSA, and others. He was the guy manning the microphone. And you'll see, if you watch this whole video, he is obsessive about making sure the people don't touch the microphone. I'll give you an example right here. Henry Dell looks like he's going to readjust the microphone. This guy steps in and says, don't touch the microphone. I got it. And then he moves.
Now, apparently, according to what I've seen other people that have actually been to these events before, they've been to Crowder events and Charlie Kirk events, right, where they've spoken at college campuses, they said that this is actually kind of normal. Now, the obsessive way he's doing it may not be, but as far as them having someone else to move and, adjust the microphone and telling them not to touch it, obviously, is something that is kind of normal. Moving on.
The microphone. This is a recurring theme in this 10 minutes and 15 seconds because Charlie Kirk will be dead at the 10-minute and 15-second mark of this. But you'll see what's happening here. And I'll just flip around a little bit. Charlie Kirk holding his microphone. He's answering questions. This guy's Henry Dell here in the middle. He's the one pumping his fist, looking around at the crowd.
Right.
He's asking the first set of questions. I think if I recall, his questions were about the Mormon faith and how it related to Christianity and Charlie's relationship with it. To give you an idea of some of the background characters, here on the far left, now out of screen, now back in screen, the guy in the short sleeve,
Dan Flood.
black shirt here, standing up behind Charlie to Charlie's, 4 o'clock?
Look what he's standing on.
That's Dan Flood. He's the guy that gives the...
Do you see what he's standing on? He's standing on a platform that it almost looks like a plastic table to me. I don't think it is, but it looks plastic. And it's sitting on top of cases. Plastic cases. Why would you do that? You would need to be grounded in order to make sure you didn't get electrocuted, right?
The arm signal. Over here on the other side of the screen, of course, texting in the white shirt and backpack, that's Mikey McCoy. That guy right there, let me pause that in case they move it again. See the guy looking down at his phone on the far right in the tan shirt? That's the chief of audio video, or whatever he is. He's a contractor, but he is like the head guy for audio video.
Right,
from
this
TPUSA.
guy here. The guy in the, you can't see my cursor, but where you see the RBP at the top, where he's holding his phone and he's looking down. He's got the gray shirt and the sunglasses. He's the same one that ran away and started filming the selfie.
That's the guy, Terrell Farnsworth, who, he's dead, takes the video.
Right.
I always wondered how Terrell Farnsworth was so confident Charlie Kirk had died.
Right.
Because he saw almost as much as Mikey McCoy saw and Blake Neff.
And he kept saying they ended him. Why would you say that? They ended him. They ended him. He said the D word, obviously, but he was like, they ended him. Why would you say that? Why would you say they? It was very strange phrasing to me. And the fact that he took a selfie video of it.
Saw something, boom, looked up and ran off. But then he immediately grabs the phone, starts taking selfies and saying that Charlie's dead. Tonight might give us a clue why Terrell Farnsworth knew so intimately the details. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like button. This is Baron Coleman. I break every rule. I'm supposed to announce my name. I'm supposed to invite you to subscribe, like, share.
Hey, I haven't done that yet. This is Paige. Nobody else is watching except my girl Deidre, and that's okay. Like, subscribe, all that great stuff. I would greatly appreciate it because I'm telling you, whenever I show you, now a lot of you have already suspected. If somebody watches this later, I hope you do. A lot of you have already suspected what kind of technology could actually be used to pull something like this off, and you're correct in your assumption, and I'm going to show you why.
The notification button. I'm supposed to tell you the name of the show. This is a Real Baron podcast. I am Baron Coleman. I'm supposed to give you my schedule. I'm here 3 or 4, sometimes 5 nights a week. Guys.
Okay. Now, we're going to move on to the next clip. 1550. Okay. This is Cooper messing around with the sound controls and constantly throughout, and you keep hearing feedback from the microphones. Okay. Usually, prior to events, they already have the, okay, you can see my cursor. Great. Thank you for telling me that. Yeah, because I never know, you know, when I record a video, it doesn't show up because I've got it hidden, but on live stream obviously works good. So where was I? You'll notice me do that a lot. Okay. 1550. Okay. You're going to heed the feed. Before they do these events, they make sure that their sound is dialed in, right? They make sure that feedback doesn't happen. They test it prior. Okay. So let's go to 1550. 47 is good enough. All right.
What you think. But let me go through and play some stuff. So let me fast forward now that you kind of got a thing. Notice as I skip around and I skip forward. Okay, I'm back here at the 0 minute mark. I've got 1776 hat leaning over messing with the controls, right? Let me just skip through. 39 second, leaning over messing with the controls. Minute 24, nowhere to be found. 212, leaning over messing with the controls. Well, there I can't see him. To 309, leaning over messing with the controls. These are the sound controls. Now he's standing up talking to his boss right next to the sound controls. Now he's leaning over messing with the sound controls at 402. Leaning over messing with the sound controls at 433.
Yeah, you can see it better here. Him standing on these cases. Now, I should have done my due diligence and went back and looked at other prior TPUSA events to see. Now, Dan might actually be standing on them for another reason. He could be standing on them so he has full view of everybody outside of the tent. Maybe that's not an odd thing, but it seems odd to me.
Leaning over messing with the sound controls at 448. 543, what do you think he's doing?
Yeah.
610, leaning over messing with the sound controls.
He's constantly doing it.
647, leaning over messing with the sound controls. 720, leaning over messing with the sound controls. 754, leaning over messing.
You can just barely see him, but he's doing it.
The sound controls. 813, leaning over messing with the sound controls. 840, leaning over messing with the sound controls. And now I'm going to bring in the audio. And if it's too loud or too soft, you guys tell me. I'm going to bring in the audio because I want you to hear what happens. This is very curious.
Listen to this feedback.
Very, very curious. I'm going to bring in the audio, and I want you to hear what happens. If we have to replay it, we will. I'm going to bring it in at what I think is a reasonable...
He was not grounded. Charlie was not grounded. I saw a different shot of a different angle, and his chair was sitting on the ground. He wasn't grounded.
Volume that doesn't blow me out in my ears. You guys tell...
In the sense, right, like he's sitting on a metal chair. Okay?
If it's too loud or too quiet. We can talk about Dan texting in a second, but I want you to focus on the sound guy right now, and I want you to focus on what we hear as Henry Dell wraps up. Henry Dell's about to finish up here. I think at the 8 minute and 48 second mark he finishes.
To a scholar. Right,
it's going to get loud.
The audience I've done once, you will run. God bless you, my loved ones. Thank you so much.
All right, we got a 5x, so we're good here. Okay, he's put the microphone down on the table, and Dan Flood has come and said something into his ears here, right? So let me back that up. I'll turn the sound back off. But he finishes up his speech here.
The way that he even steps over to talk to Charlie is kind of strange to me. Like, why wouldn't he just get down off of it and talk to him? he stretches his leg out. Did you see that? That's kind of weird. You see? Almost like maybe he was sitting on something else, or maybe Charlie was sitting on something else. I'm not sure.
And Dan Flood has come and said something into his ears here.
But he
right?
he was definitely sitting on a metal chair. We do know that.
Back that up. I'll turn the sound back off. But he finishes up his speech here. He runs Henry Dell off. Hey, the audience had enough of you. Dan comes in to talk to him, and the microphone goes down on the table. I don't know what Dan said, but they're talking back and forth to each other. But I want to back the sound up because I want you to hear what's happened. It's something new that happens here that has not happened in the previous 8 minutes and 50 seconds, that the sound man has been messing with the sound the entire time.
Okay, we've already heard it. There's feedback.
Hello. Hi. Yeah, so we're good. Hey, Charlie. Hey, hopefully we're going to have a little bit more disagreement.
That is a sign that there is more current flowing through those mics than there should be.
Hi, yeah, so just wanted to, a few weeks ago.
See?
Did anyone hear what was happening? Yes, there was a feedback loop.
Right.
I've been in radio a long time. I know what causes a feedback loop. And I know what can control a feedback loop, particularly when your sound man is sitting on the machine. Charlie's mic has no reason to be up high enough to be causing feedback right now. No reason whatsoever.
Right.
The only reason you would need feedback, the only reason you would get feedback if there's a volume issue. If there's a volume issue, you would get feedback. Short of that, you wouldn't have feedback.
Right.
And you've got a sound guy who for 8...
When I said, you know, there's more current running through that, that's what I mean. I'm country. Like, the sound does need to be turned down.
Minutes and 48 seconds was able to control the sound without feedback. Microphone in the lap, no feedback. Microphone on the table, no feedback. All of a sudden...
Right. So up until that point, right up until this happens to Charlie, that's odd. That's odd that it all of a sudden just starts happening right before
Hunter Kozak walks up to the
he gets taken out, supposedly.
Hunter Kozak gets to the microphone, and all of a sudden we've got a real feedback problem.
Right.
Interesting. And what we get when we start getting the feedback is, watch the sound guy, how he signals, the sound guy that's on his knees over here on the right, how he signals to Terrell Farnsworth to tell Charlie to pick up the microphone. Watch it again.
So we're good. Hey, Charlie. Hey, hopefully we're going to have a little bit more disagreement.
You're right in there.
Even the security guard steps in this time to tell Hunter Kozak not to touch the microphone.
Right.
But watch what happens. So the sound guy has signaled to Terrell Farnsworth. Terrell Farnsworth is now going to come over to Charlie and say, Bud, you got to pick up the microphone.
Yeah, so just wanted to...
He's telling him, pick up the mic. Charlie looked back at him after that.
All right. A few weeks ago, there was a transgender mass shooter. And ever since then, about 3 weeks later, the Trump DOJ said that we should start talking about...
And you see over there on the right, now we're within 20 or 35 seconds of Charlie Kirk's death here. You see over there at the right, Terrell Farnsworth and the sound guy are having a real conversation. Leaning over, he even made some hand motion. I can back it up if you want to see it. I'll cut the volume so you don't have to hear it again. But he made some kind of hand motion here.
Right in here.
He signals to him. They look. See that? He makes some kind of hand motion. Terrell Farnsworth stands back up, leans back down. I'll turn the sound back on for a second so you can kind of hear what we're talking about, because you'll recognize now this is where most of the clips pick up.
Revoking gun rights for transgender Americans. I think it's important to say, yeah, right. So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Now, from this point forward, I don't believe he puts the microphone down. Or maybe he puts it down one time and the next time he holds it up. But that was the transgender count. How many transgenders have been shooters over the last 5 years?
Too many.
Right. He puts it down that
time. It's 5. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm going to give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence?
So you guys know what comes next. You've seen this video 1,000 times.
Here's my theory. Now, Charlie might have always been somebody who sat there and, you know, kind of got fidgety while he was sitting around, but he seemed extra fidgety this day. He was constantly shaking his leg. throughout the entire time that he sits here. So was he expecting it? That's the question. Now, let's move on to the next timestamp, because he just goes back over some of this. Okay, this is whenever Charlie is holding the mic, and then Dan Flood signals. Okay, well, here. Actually, we're about to run right back.
I don't have to show you again, but I want to hit mute. I want to back it up a little bit. Now that you know the timing, and now that you know it's important, I think, that he was holding the microphone, I want you to watch when Dan Flood gives the signal. Watch when Dan Flood gives the signal. Now that you know the timing is so important that he's holding the microphone, and he keeps putting it down and picking it up, putting it down and picking it up. Or at least I'm making the suggestion, perhaps it was. So watch the timing of Dan Flood's signal. See that? He puts the signal out while he's holding the microphone. Why? And we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss that in a second. I'm going to show you some evidence.
Look at the time. This video cuts as soon as it happens, right? At 10:16. So you're going to tell me that that's just a coincidence? That he signaled the very moment that he picked up the microphone? That's not a coincidence. Now, we've heard all these theories of, we've heard dozens of them, right? Like the actual projectile bounced off a plate that he was wearing, a carrier plate, and then it went up into his neck. I don't buy that. That a projectile or explosive flew out of his microphone, out of his, I guess it was another microphone, some of the, whatever else he was wearing, the lapel. I don't buy that either. I don't think it could have happened that quickly. Okay. The eyes are very deceiving. I believe that things that are, I think there are countless things that have happened throughout history that we've seen with our own eyes, or at least we thought we saw it with our own eyes. Does it have a cable? That one does, yes. It surely does. That one that he was holding did. So yes, absolutely. Okay. All I'm saying is throughout history, I believe there have been dozens and dozens of events that we've thought we saw happen, but didn't actually happen the way that we thought they happened, especially in the last 20, 25 years, right? With the uptick of technology. And I'm going to cover that. So, okay. It's kind of strange that that very microphone is sitting at Mar-a-Lago right now. Why would that microphone, like, oh, well, it represents Charlie's, you know, that's what he did for a living. He talked to people, you know. It's like, okay, but why the microphone in particular? Well, maybe they wanted it in a secure location, right? Maybe it needed to be somewhere where they knew nobody would mess with it, and people would be none the wiser. They would just say, oh, there's Charlie Kirk's microphone, you know. Like, it wouldn't be a big deal to them. Okay.
Microphone is today. Is anyone aware of where that microphone is?
Mar-a-Lago. He's going to show you.
That microphone was most recently at Mar-a-Lago during the $10,000 a plate dinner.
Isn't that wild? I think it is absolutely, I don't even know the word for it. That these rich people go to these $10,000 plate dinners. I think that's bizarre. It's a bizarre thing.
That's where the microphone was. Now, it's strange to me because
it's out of touch. That's what I'm trying to say.
Because there were a lot of things that you could put on display if you wanted to signify Charlie. There's a beautiful portrait, for example, right next to it.
Right.
You could have his necklace that Erica Kirk held up.
Right. Okay.
You could have one of the T-shirts, the Freedom T-shirts. Those have taken off.
Okay, so he just covers that. Now, the next item is, okay, this is what Charlie's hand looked like before. What his hands looked like before this happened. Okay, what is it, 2706? Let's fast forward here. There.
What did his hand look like? That's a good image of his hand there. This is from a tweet I put up today.
It was fine.
That is what his hand looked like. Notice the hand. Look at the hand. Examine the hand. Do you see anything remarkable about the hand?
There's nothing wrong with it.
I don't see anything remarkable about the hand.
Okay, now.
So let's see what his hand looked like immediately following.
This blew me away.
This is a picture taken 20-something seconds. I think 22 or 3 I counted out. And I wasn't sure exactly when it was taken, so I gave like a 2-second window. This is his hand taken immediately after. What does that look like to you?
Look at the dots. Look. Look at those. What is that? What are those? And I've seen other pictures of this, okay? I've seen other pictures on X of this very image, and it's not edited. It was taken from the footage of that day. But look at that. They're puncture holes, right? They're puncture holes from some kind of object. Now, you see the shine on his knuckles here? That's a burn mark. Hang on. Look at that. Look at that.
That's not blood.
It's not. All of that is burn. All of that is burn. All up his arm here, and there's some here.
And there's something else about this. You see these 2 dots up here? What are those?
They're puncture holes.
For those saying bruise, he just died. Like
there's no way. It's not possible. That is not physically possible for it to be bruised. It's not.
Instantly. You see how shiny that knuckle is right there? Have you ever burned your hand on the stove?
I've had plenty of burns.
Have you ever burned your hand on a pan when you reach in and grab something and you see a little shine on it?
That's exactly what my hand looked like when I worked there was the second restaurant I ever worked in my life, but I burnt my hand as I was getting biscuits out of the oven, and that's what happened right there, right on top of my hand.
To rub some butter on it, or you put some water over it?
Cold water.
So that'll give you an idea of that. I'm going to show you a couple more pictures of the immediate aftermath.
Okay, 29.
Let's see if I can get this one.
He pulls up the left hand.
You guys may not have seen this one.
Hang on. Give him a second here. Look here.
That is Charlie's arm. That's his right hand. Hanging down.
You can see that now.
After he was shot. Now there is blood in that on the thumb right there.
That's
no doubt
definitely
about
the
it.
red stuff.
What
right
appears
there.
to be blood on that thumb.
Yeah.
But there you get those
are burns.
Burn marks or whatever those are. Again, this was 20 seconds ago.
Now,
for those of you talking about bruises,
that's nothing. The puncture holes are weird. Not just weird. That's crazy. When his arm goes up, when he, yes, a little bit. The problem is with that image is that it happens so quickly. He shows it. You can see it, but it's not as obvious, right? Because of the fact that it was a zoomed out shot whenever the image was taken. So whenever you zoom in, it kind of gets grainy and pixelated. So let's go to the next one. Look here. Right after, not possible. Okay, yeah, it's not possible to have bruises this quickly. So
if you hit yourself 20 seconds later, do you have a bruise? And you're alive. Your heart's beating.
It's not possible. Okay, let's go up to the next one.
I would show you his other hand, but it's pretty gruesome.
Well,
his
he's going to show it.
31-30. His left arm as he's being carried off.
Look at this.
It kind of looks charred.
It does. That looks like...
That's his left arm. Now, his left arm, in that image that I showed you, and I can go back to the video, his left arm was what was holding the microphone. And I'm not going to show the point of impact, but he brings the microphone down and holds it then with both hands. It's at that moment when he grabs it with both hands, the shirt flies up and he gets tense. And I'm going to tell you what kind of led me down this path, and I'm going to show you a few more.
I have seen burn victims. I have seen someone after a lightning strike. That is very, very, very similar. It looks exactly like somebody, it looks like he got electrocuted. Because you can see the black. You can see it. And that's not bruising, right? There's red, like that might be red stuff. But all of this dark here, it ain't dirt. That's char.
Pictures. But that hand looks crispy. I'll be honest.
It does.
The right hand looked like it had been tased or something. But the left hand looks just fried, in my humble opinion.
And that was the hand that was holding the microphone.
I'm going to show you what led me down this path.
Wasn't it? Yes.
Without showing the video, and it's hard to do without showing the video.
Okay.
When I first asked the question the other day,
3234, here he goes.
Why was Charlie still holding on to the microphone?
He was still holding on to it. Yeah.
Why was Charlie still holding on to the microphone when he was dead? I asked the question. Charlie's dead right now. And we're told.
Yep. We're told.
You'll notice if you zoom in on this picture, you'll notice his ring has left his ring finger and is now falling off of his hand. And he is still gripping the microphone. He is falling over and he's got both hands clenched.
And look, I've also seen what happens to someone when they get hit with a lead projectile. You immediately, I'm talking about instantaneous, boom, headshot. You immediately go limp. Immediately. I mean, it's like within milliseconds, I've watched people just drop. And their hands, that's one of the biggest things. Your hands, like you turn into a rag doll. You're not going to grip something like that. Okay? So that tells me one of two things. That this was indeed an electrocution. And people survive electrocution. I've seen people survive lightning strikes. Okay? That's why I mentioned how he kind of seemed nervous that day. Maybe he knew what he was walking into. Maybe he knew this was going to happen. Maybe he did. And maybe he was in on it. Maybe there was a point, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. I believe that is more than possible, and what the motivation to do that would be. I'll show you.
I'll show you the other fist in just a second. Now, at first we were told this was a cerebral reflex due to a spinal cord injury. Well, lo and behold, wouldn't you know, I made a comment about that on air, and I got reached out to by a neurosurgeon. I verified that he was, in fact, a neurosurgeon. The neurosurgeon said, no, that's not true. The neurosurgeon said that's not the reaction to a spinal cord injury. And then actually a nurse told me this today who I was talking to about these images. The nurse said the same thing. That's not a spinal cord injury that makes you do this. That's a brain injury, a deep brain injury, or an electrocution. The neurosurgeon's the one that put me on electrocution. Because I said, why is he still holding on to the microphone? And somebody said, oh, he was a spinal cord injury. Neurosurgeon writes in and says, that ain't a neurosurgery. That's not a neuro injury. That's a deep brain injury or an electrocution. Are we sure he wasn't electrocuted? It looks more like an electrocution to me. And I thought, what? What are you talking about?
Yep.
So I start digging.
Okay.
And I really start digging. And I'll show you one more showing the clenched fists. One more showing the clenched fists. I'm not blaming anybody. Stop it. Stop it in the comments. There are your clenched fists.
We all saw it. I saw it repeatedly over and over and over.
This is an earlier image than the one I just showed you.
It looks like he seizes up. And I've watched people get electrocuted. I've seen it happen with my own eyes. And that's what happens. You instantly, or you grab a hold of the thing that electrocuted you. And you can't let go of it. Like the current is running through you and the thing at the same time. So you can't let go of it. All right. This is whenever he raises his hand when he's on the ground. What is it? 35:22, 35:42. Here we go. You can kind of, that's what I was telling you. You can kind of see it. But look at that. Zoom into that. You know, I'll take my phone and I'll like zoom in on the picture. That looks black.
I will if you need me to. Pull the hand back up.
Looks like char to me.
No blood has left his neck by this point. There's one drop that has gotten near his hand. One drop has gotten near his hand.
Yeah, and isn't it awful funny that whenever he gets struck, you don't see any of it go on his shirt. They're like, oh, well, it's because of the way he was leaning. I'm telling you that it would have been all over him. Okay? It would have been all over. It would have been all over his shirt. He was wearing a white shirt. So how is that possible? Told you, I'm getting there. We're gonna finish covering Barron, and then I'm gonna move on.
That hand is fried. You can watch the video, slow it down yourself if you don't believe me. I did not alter this photo. All I did was hit pause and take a screen cap. That hand is fried.
It looks like it to me too.
That's not bruising. The event just happened a second and a half ago. That's not a bruise. That's not blood. No blood has left the neck. You can pause the video and see when he drops the mic yourself. There's no blood anywhere near his hand when he drops the mic and his hand opens up. Look at that hand.
Okay.
What is going on in that hand?
40-30.
I said I wasn't going to break in, but I have to. Watch 1776. I'm going to play again. He points to Charlie and like
1776. He's talking about the guy in the hat.
Gives him the pick up the mic sign. He does this. Watch it. See if that's what he's saying. It looks to me like he's saying, tell him to pick up the mic. I'll play it again.
Yeah, right here.
There it was.
Hang on. Hang on. I'm trying to see who he's talking about. I can't remember who the guy in the 1776. It's going to be loud. What's happening? I'm lagging really bad. There we go.
Hello. I said I wasn't going to break in, but I have to. Watch 1776. I'm going to play again. He points to Charlie and like gives him the pick up the mic sign. He does this. Watch it. See if that's what he's saying.
I think it's a 1776
shirt. It looks to me like he's saying, tell him to pick up the mic. I'll play it again. There it was.
Hi. Yeah, it's working. Hey, Charlie. Hey, hopefully we're going to have a little bit more disagreement.
Either way, you see it happen.
All right. Hi, yeah, so just wanted to, a few weeks ago.
That keeps happening. Wasn't happening up until that point.
All right. A few weeks ago, there was a transgender mass shooter. And ever since then, about 3 weeks later, the Trump DOJ said that we should...
Pay attention to how he picks up the mic and puts it down, and watch the timing with Dan Flood as he does it.
Okay, so we saw this already because Dan Flood taps his arm at the very moment that Charlie goes to pick up the microphone. We've already seen that. Okay, the next thing is that Barron explaining why he thinks it is what it is. Hang on. I'm not Safari's not responding very well for me. I'm going to have to start using Brave for my streams because this isn't
opinion
very good.
This looks a lot more to me now, having looked at this, and I will ask you, and I'll go through some of your questions here in a second. This looks a lot more to me like an electrocution. It looks to me like an electrocution. I have asked an AV guy, a friend of mine who does audio video for like stadiums where they do the Super Bowl. I mean, big time places. He sends me pictures all the time from, I don't want to name the fields, but NFL stadiums and NBA stadiums. Here I am doing this. Here I am doing that. He understands this industry. I asked him point blank, could that microphone electrocute you to death? And he said, yes.
Yeah.
He said, if that microphone wasn't grounded and you were holding on to it, yes.
But here's the thing. You can also survive that. I've seen people survive lightning strikes. I'm telling you, it is very possible. So I feel like that this was more than plausible for him to survive it. Because I don't think he actually got struck in the neck. That's what it looked like. But
now,
that's not what happened.
The signal would make more sense now, wouldn't it? Dan Flood's signal would make more sense at this point. I'll get to the neck blood in a second. Dan Flood's signal would make more sense. Again, I'm just going through this as a possibility. Am I saying this is definitively what happens and I believe 100% this is what happens?
No, I'm not either.
No.
And look, I'm not either. I'm not saying definitively. I'm saying that that's exactly what this looks like, and here's how it could happen.
Saying I've looked at enough evidence of this today and in the last few weeks, really. I've looked at enough evidence of this that I think it's starting to become pretty reliable. And when a neurosurgeon says that ain't a neuro injury from a neck, that you wouldn't do that. That's a deep brain injury. That's a deep in the back of the head brain injury. And then I had a nurse today say almost the exact same words again. That doesn't look like a spine injury. That looks like a deep brain injury.
Right. Okay, 4621. This is the last one that I'm going to cover. Okay. And then I'm going to go on to the next because I'm going to explain how this would be possible.
Because now you have to coordinate multiple things at once. First, you have to coordinate lifting the ground on the mic.
I'm not sure about that, Deidre. He texted so many people. I thought it was Frank Turret and Andrew Colvett that he was texting. Because today I found out that Frank Turret actually confirmed what Candace said, which was because Candace said that Charlie had texted her and said that he was afraid somebody was going to take him out the very next day at this event. And Frank Turret said the exact same thing. And then Erica, I don't know which show, was it Megyn Kelly or if it was on Fox and Friends, but Erica says that didn't happen. Well, somebody's lying, right? She said, I have his phone. Somebody's lying. Well, who's lying then? Frank Turret and Candace both are saying that he was scared someone was going to take him out the day before.
You have to coordinate lifting the ground on the mic while he's holding it. It can't be on the table. 2, you have to coordinate the loud sound mimicking a gunshot. Has to come from somewhere, or else it's pretty obvious what happened. If there's no loud boom, if there's no gunshot sound, if there's no somebody not running off a roof, then it becomes pretty obvious that he was electrocuted.
Exactly.
And the final thing you have to coordinate is some sort of activity simulating a gunshot. Either
he just said it. He said it without saying it, and I don't even think he meant to say it. Simulated, right? Sent it from it, maybe not. Somebody said earlier, I think it was Coach Collins, said that he could have had a second phone that Erica didn't know about. But where would it end up after this, right? Or maybe Charlie's still here and he still got it. Who knows?
His shirt or exterior into his neck. Now, I don't know how that happened because I've not solved this case.
I believe, I'm not going to say I've solved it. It's not that I've solved it. I'm not some sleuth. I'm not an investigator. I'm not an expert. I'm not an intellectual, okay? But it's the thing that makes the most sense. It makes the most sense to me. I'm going to let him go on a little diatribe for just a second.
Given plenty of options, and I've thought of others myself. 1, I don't trust Charlie's necklace. He did not sleep with that necklace the night before. That necklace was in his wife's bathroom the night before, and he slept in his daughter's room, and his daughter slept in his bed. He came in the morning to get the necklace. They didn't kiss goodbye. I'm just quoting Erica here.
Right.
So a possible place the boom could have come from was the necklace. 2, another place it could have come from is the microphone, the wireless microphone he was wearing.
Yeah, because look,
either one of those could have been planted with some sort of.
It still is strange that you see air move around his neck and you see the shirt go up. So yeah, that is odd. Something there's some strangeness to that.
Charge, not an explosion that killed him.
Right.
We might know what killed him.
But something that went off in order to simulate it, right? Okay. Now, I'll let you watch that later because for anybody who's watching, which nobody else is right now, and that's okay, but I'm going to pull this up because I want people to understand just how twisted our government is and our military and the agency and the bureau and all of these other outside agencies and groups and mercenaries, French Legionnaires, anyone, that we work with, that we work in concert with, that they don't mind getting their hands dirty and they don't mind deceiving the American public or any other country's people, right? Now, let me see how this looks. All right, let's do this. That way you can actually see it. It would be nice, huh? Let's do it this way, and then I'll move it back when I need to. Okay. Now. All right. These are strange, basically, PSYOPs that the government has done. Our government, or the CIA, or the feds. an Osama bin Laden toy, demon toy. The plan after September was to make figurines that looked like Osama bin Laden and give them to kids in South Asia. After being left in the sun for a certain amount of time, its face would peel off to reveal a demon-like visage with red skin, green eyes, and black markings. The objective was to scare kids and their parents so bin Laden and Al-Qaeda would lose support. Right, to vilify them, to make them look even worse than they already were, right? Now, of course, the contents of his hard drive, I already know about that. He had some really weird stuff on it. I mean, it was really nothing. I mean, it was just like weird movies and cartoon shows and stuff that he watched. Oh, yeah. The rubbers. The Cold War rubber drop. When a CIA operative drew up a plan to have packets of extra large rubbers labeled small dropped on the USSR. The idea was to lower their morale during the Cold War. It gets better. The acoustic kitty, they basically put a microphone and a radio in a cat. And I remember this because the cat actually got run over. I watched a documentary, a short doc on this. They tried to release it into the Soviet embassy to wander around eavesdropping since nobody suspected a wandering cat. But he got run over. That was the end result of that. It went south from there. Psych warfare in the Philippines. Okay. The CIA conducted research to figure out what sort of myths and superstitions the Philippine people had. They discovered that they were afraid of vampires. That's strange. I guess every culture has their thing, right? At one point, they disrupted a group by snatching a local man, murdering him. I said the M word. Oh, well. It's not like I'm, it's not like I'm monetized or anything yet. At one point, they disrupted a group by snatching a local man, offing him, unaliving him, putting teeth marks on his neck. They then hung him upside down for his friends to find, which terrified the village. This was all part of an effort to elect Ramon Magsaysay as president, who basically acted as a puppet for the U.S. They wrote the spooks. They wrote his speeches. Now, ask yourself this question after listening to that, after reading that. They wrote his speeches. He was a president of the Philippines. He got elected. He was their puppet. But it's like, who does the CIA work for? Who do they take orders from? They don't take them from the president. They operate outside of the bounds of law, and they always have since the beginning. Okay? Which means, they were, yeah, you got that right. We all chip our pets. That's right. That's right. You talking about the cat? Yeah. Well, it's not the hardest thing to figure out that the spooks are actually operated, owned, and directed by the elites. They do their heavy lifting for them. They do whatever they want them to do, right? The hundreds of failed assassination attempts on Fidel Castro. Yes. Over and over and over again, they tried to take him out. There were 638 of them. Isn't that wild? 638 failed assassination attempts. In 1960, they tried to poison his cigars. They asked the Chicago mob for help. They said poison pills are the best. The mobsters hired a local assassin who gave them to an ice cream / milkshake parlor employee who was supposed to slip them into Castro's ice cream. When he tried to get the poison pills from the freezer, they were frozen solid on the coils of the freezer. Another time, they planned to put explosives under a painted seashell, as Castro loved scuba diving and collecting seashells. The plan was discarded as impractical. In the same year, they contaminated a scuba diving suit for Castro with a fungus that should have given Castro a deadly disease. The person tasked with this, American lawyer James Donovan, who was negotiating the release of hostages after the Bay of Pigs invasion, he couldn't do it in the end. Another attempt, they trained his lover to poison him, but she got cold feet. Another attempt, they had a James Bond-like idea of poisoning him with a tiny needle. All these failed poison attempts, they never could get the dude, right? Last but not least, they had the idea to assassinate his character by spraying an LSD-like chemical into the broadcasting studio where he held his speeches. The idea was to make him look confused and unfit to rule. If I'm being real, I think Biden was on acid the whole time that he was in office. Come on, man. You know, the thing, you know. Dang. No, I think him and even his body doubles were, had Alzheimer's. Dementia. Bringing former Nazi scientists from Germany to America to hopefully beat the Soviet. Yeah, everybody knows about Operation Paperclip. Operation Sea Spray. My point is that there are no lengths that they are not willing to go in order to get what they want and to deceive us and to keep us docile, right? I'm going to get to that part of it in a little bit. Project MK Ultra. You cannot convince me that that is not still going on, and I believe it had a hand in this case as well in the event of September 10th. Modern art as a CIA weapon. During the 60s, the CIA noticed that artists tend to lean towards socialism and communism. They realized the best way to prevent this or discredit these political positions was to make them wealthy so they could be more invested in capitalism. To do this, the spooks would anonymously buy modern art pieces, no matter how nonsensical, for very high prices. This made the otherwise highly niche and difficult to access modern art genre a chic, fashionable, and highly profitable genre, and basically prevented prominent members of the art community from turning to socialism or communism by converting them into wealthy members of the upper class. Yeah, they converted them. Okay, the gateway experience. Now, this one is wild. Declassified doc from 1983. I can't talk. Declassified doc from 1983 detailing the CIA's usage of harmonic resonance to gain access to the astral plane. It describes how the CIA used astral projection to create force fields around military bases, visit the future, and even talk to literal God. They called God the Absolute, which they claim is all of the universe compiled into a single point for a single moment in time, after which the universe re-expands. It says, read this ish if you have a mind for the creepy unexplained. I'm actually going to look into that. I don't know much. I know a little bit about it, but not much. The papers describing astral projection, they brought a psychic in and placed an envelope with coordinates and a time frame on it. They asked him to describe what he saw. He described a dying planet where people had left to discover a new place they could populate. It was revealed that the envelope contained coordinates on Mars in the distant past. It gets much more in-depth when he describes large structures, etc. It's not very long and very much worth the read. We'll have to look into that. Yeah, and there's been tons of PSYOPs done. And FFs, false flags done to try to scare people, terrify people, or just make them docile and calm, or to where they won't rebel, to where they won't rise up, right? The Pentagon Papers, I think you've probably heard of these. And the resultant, okay, these were technically leaked, right? Not outright declassified. And the resultant Church Committee report. These are what made public the CIA's actions in overthrowing governments and instigating/assisting coups all over the world for decades leading up to the 70s. Pretty much every negative stereotype of the spooks we have today was created or informed by the Pentagon Papers. There was I'm pretty sure that the movie is actually called The Pentagon Papers. I think it's a documentary. I've seen it. But there has been some very disturbing operations, right? Operation Northwoods, for example, that was pretty disturbing. The DOD proposed that the spooks operatives plant explosives around the United States to commit staged military acts and then blame them on Cuba. Do you really think, does anybody really believe that this isn't going on anymore? This is what I don't understand about people. How people can go about their daily life as if this isn't still going on every single day, all around us, every day. Okay, let me pull up my, all right, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to the Sensorama. I'm going to show you exactly why I'm bringing it up. Did you know that the first VR machine called the Sensorama, it was a VR, a VR virtual reality simulator. Do you know when it was patented? Just take a wild guess. 1968. 1968 is when the Sensorama was patented, at least to my knowledge. I might have the exact year wrong, but it was late 60s. Okay? 3D motion, or 3D wide vision motion, color, stereo, sound, aromas, wind, vibrations. Yeah, it was a simulator. I mean, look at it. The Sensorama, it was one of the first functioning efforts in virtual reality. Okay, it was first thought of in 1955. American cinematographer, here's the actual picture. American cinematographer, hang on a minute, I got to do this again because I'm full screen now. All right. Now, 1955 is whenever he did the paper on it, the cinema of the future. This is when he had the idea for it, okay? And here's a guy that actually will show you how it operates, all right? Morton Heilig's Sensorama. It's an interview. Okay, that's the inventor. In 1962, he built a prototype of his immersive, multi-sensory, mechanical, multimodal model theater called the Sensorama and created 5 short films to be I can't talk, displayed in it. So, I'll show you exactly why I'm bringing this up. Okay? All right. Now, I'm bringing this up because how far into the future do you think our military, the military-industrial complex, the feds, the Bureau, the Bureau, the agency, how far into the future do you think they are? They're pretty far, right? Before, I said about 50 years. Well, there's someone else that I listened to who was a whistleblower who claimed that it was far more than 50 years, that it was actually 90. 90 years into the future. Okay? Now, how in the world could Charlie Kirk, yes, 90 years at most, at least, that's exactly what this whistleblower said, okay? He said that, that was one of the, one of the pieces of misinformation that actually they put out was that they were, we're only 50 years in the future. Well, 50 years is a long time when you're talking about technology. However, it was actually almost double that. Have you ever seen, let's go ahead and pull that up. You ever seen, I think we talked about this. Have you ever seen the Coachella Tupac hologram? You ever seen it? This was 13 years ago, okay? 13 years ago. I apologize. I hope this doesn't blow your ears out. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. Now, a lot of people, when they were there at the concert, they knew that it was coming, right? However, because they were told about it prior. But when it happened, Now, I'm not going to play it for copyright reasons, obviously. I'm not going to play the music. But when they were there were people that were there that said that they were so just floored by how realistic he looked on stage. And it was a hologram. We're not going to play it. I don't want to get... Look. Now, technically, this isn't officially a hologram. I'm going to explain why. Actually, ChatGPT was the one that actually broke it down for me. Look how real that looks. Now, when they zoom out, look. He looks like he's really on stage. 13 years ago. It's actually a type of technology. It's not just holographic technology, okay, that they were using. It was actually an illusion. It's called a ghost pepper illusion. I'm going to show you exactly what it is. But that looks real. I mean, the weight that he's walking around, like that, it looks like he's really on stage to me. How do you think? Yeah. Now, yeah, but here's the thing. If nobody had told me, if nobody had said a word to me about him being, like, it being, hang on a second. If it hadn't actually been, right, like, told to me that this was Tupac on stage, then, and if I was there and I saw it, I would have, for at least 30 seconds, I would have thought that was him. Again, you have to imagine, this is 13 years ago. Look at the leaps and bounds. It's accelerating. Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. You know exactly where I'm going with this. Okay. Hang on. I need to cut this off just a little bit, just so it doesn't show my personal information for a second. And actually, okay, good, it's cut off. Now, cut that. Okay, there we go. I've got to find it though. Hang on, let me find it. Here it is. Okay, now I'm going to read you what ChatGPT told me, and then I'm going to show you the patent for the technology that it's actually talking about. All right? Okay, here we go. Now, keep having to adjust. It's just the way it is. There we go. That way maybe you can see it a little better. But I'm still gonna read it. All right? Now, okay, this patent here. Nope. Wrong one. Okay. Not that one either. It's this one. Okay. Background imagery for enhanced Pepper's ghost illusion. I said ghost pepper. I had it backwards. So I asked it. I said, is this background imagery for enhanced Pepper's ghost illusion the patent? Is this the actual, like, technology that they used for the Coachella concert? And it said, yes, exactly the same technology, right? You just found a patent that describes a stage upgrade to the same tech used for Tupac. And it said, let me break it down. Let's trick your eyeballs even harder. All right, I'm not going to read all that. Okay. It normally needs a transparent angled screen, a projection hitting it, a real or virtual background behind the screen to create the illusion of a 3D person on stage. But stages are cramped. Sometimes the space behind the transparent screen is only a couple feet deep. The solution is to fake the depth. They create background imagery or digital scenery that sits behind the transparent hologram screen and makes everything look like it extends way further back than it actually does. Think fake hallways, cityscapes, rooms, smoke, fog layers, smoke, neon signs, light, sky, you get it. Background imagery is designed so your brain goes, dang, this is a hologram. This hologram is standing way in front of a big room. Even behind the screen is literally a flat wall. So, this patented system adds a fake environment behind the hologram. It digitally paints a background scene behind the transparent screen, making the hologram look embedded in a deeper world. It looks way more 3D, like you said. It looks like a 3D object, right? Depth equals realism. Your brain sees perspective, shadows, distant objects, so the hologram looks like it belongs in that space. Saves physical stage space. That way you don't have to worry about anything else. Along with it, enhances realism and immersion. The more believable the background depth, the more believable the hologram. It stops looking like a projection and starts looking like a person standing in a world. This is basically Pepper's Ghost 2.0 with background effects, right? How this connects to Tupac, to the performance at Coachella. It was a CGI Tupac video projected onto a transparent mylar screen using angled projections, Pepper's Ghost style. This patent is describing an improved version where you can also control the illusion behind the image to make the hologram feel even more real. If Coachella had used this enhanced background system, it could make Tupac look like he was on a massive deep stage instead of a flat one. It would have made it look more real, right? Okay, now, where does this all tie in? Let's go back to the other patent, all right? Artificially intelligent hologram. This patent was from 2017, okay? Again. Let's read what it actually says. I want to know what the patent actually says. I haven't read it in full, all right? Crap. No. Okay. A conversational holographic assistant displays a computer-generated human-like hologram capable of carrying on conversations in real time with a user. Remember it now, I'm talking about, this is something that is going to be, like, this is the kind of technology that they have access to, that 2017 is just a patent. They've probably had this tech, and I'm talking about our military, our intelligence agencies. They've had this tech for many years, right? So, but it was put on public display with the patent in 2017. A human-like hologram capable of carrying on conversations in real time with a user. The conversation realistic and more human-like. Do you see where I'm going with this? The system is intended to be utilized in retail, office, business, and personal settings to provide service to users. The holographic person can interact with retail point-of-sale systems in order to process orders on behalf of a user, provide users with detailed directions, and answer questions about the holographic person's surroundings, among other things. In some settings, the holographic person can integrate with existing Internet of Things devices. Remember that. The holographic person is implemented through the use of a user recognition component, a user input component, an interpreter component, a machine-readable text processor component, a text-to-audio generator component, text-to-audio, and a text-to-visual display generator component, and an output processor component. Okay. These are all the things that make it work, correct? Let's look at the images. Is it going to let me flip it? There we go. This is basically just a mock-up, like a sketch, so I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. I'm going to get to the explanation in just a minute, but I want to reveal what some of this, because whenever somebody says it was a hologram, they automatically think they're stupid. They're like, they're stupid. How am I stupid for pointing out that this technology has been on the market for going on 10 years now? 8 years. Going on 9. Okay? This is from 2017. Now, this is the device that I 100% believe, regardless of the outcome, regardless if Charlie is alive or not, I still genuinely 100% believe this technology was used that day. Okay. I wanted to get to the first holographic types of tech before I got into this one. That way, there's some understanding about how some of it works. Okay, and the fact that it's been around for a long time, at least publicly. Publicly been around for a few years, but it's been around for a long time. Okay, now I don't want to have to read all of this, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get. I hate to do this, but I am gonna do it. I'm gonna have ChatGPT give me a summary of this that I can read. I'm gonna say, to read to my audience. Give me. Here we go. That way you guys can understand. Here. I can't type. Down to, I'm wearing nails, where we can all understand it. Okay. And now let me give it the link. All right. Here we go. Now, it should pretty much give me an instantaneous answer, and I'll go ahead and read it. That way you understand the technicality of the technical know-how of this, because I 100% believe that this is what was used that day. Okay. All right. I keep having to do that. I need to just make sure that that every single tab I'm opening, that I can actually, have my windows adjusted exactly to where they need to be. Is that what that is? Okay. All right, here's what we're going to do. All right. It ain't going to matter. Deidre, it's just me and you in here, honey. So it's fine. But I'm still going to read it, because I need people to understand this, right? Like, it's like I'm live streaming and nobody's going to watch it because of the fact that, like, I've got all my hashtags and everything in there with it. And it's like, you really, yes, it is. I think so too. Tonight, it's nice to have it explained. Nobody's going to watch it though. That's okay. I'm totally fine. Yeah. Yeah. 100 years in the future. Yeah. Yeah. So let me read this. Let me take a hit though. Hang on. I bought some, nicotine patches, excuse me. Because I've got to quit vaping. It's like, oh, well, everybody's got their vices, and, everybody's got their vices. Yeah, that's true. We all do. But I need to quit, because I need, especially since I'm on the internet now, it's like, it doesn't look good for me to vape. It's not a good look for me as a Christian. It's really not so much that as it is, I feel like I'm disappointing God every time I do it, right? And I know I am. I hope so. I hope they watch it, because they can fast forward through I'm going to have timestamps, so it's not going to matter. All right? Me sitting here yakking, they're not going to care about it. They're just going to want to fast forward it. Okay, I'm going to read this patent, the summary of this patent, because this is the technology that I 100%, without a shred of doubt, believe was used on September 10th at UVU that day. This invention is about making 3D holograms appear in the air using multiple devices working together, like phones, tablets, or other mobile gadgets. Instead of just one device trying to project a hologram alone, a whole group of them team up so the hologram can travel through space. It can move, follow a path, and look more real. Now, there's some other some articles that I actually found on this tech. It can project an image onto a person. Okay? Do you see where I'm going with this? It projects an image onto a person to where you think what you're looking at is real. All right? Imagine a bunch of phones around you. Each one has a little holographic projector built in or attached. Now, it doesn't even have to be phones, okay? What we do know is from the footage, we know that Charlie's security detail, they picked up and passed around multiple items. Did they not? And I actually have a video, if I can actually find it. I'm going to try to find it. I'm going to open my my photos here. I've got it. I've got a video of something hitting the tent. Okay? Something was set off. So I am with Baron on that something did go off to kind of make it look like there was air around Charlie or something. Because something hit the tent. You see it hit the roof of the tent. Okay? I will have to dig through these and see. Have you ever watched Hawaii Real Estate's channel, Deidre? Because I find it very odd. Let me tell you what happened. See, he's a real estate agent, right? Let me tell you what he did. He had gotten into posting. He was posting about the Lahaina fires, right? In Hawaii. He posted mostly about that and about real estate and stuff too, there in Hawaii. But he exposed what was going on down there and exposed the DEWs, right? The DEW weapons. So, but let me tell you what happened. That's the name of the channel, Hawaii Real Estate. Okay? What happened was he started putting out videos after September 10th about Charlie and said that he didn't believe that he was gone and talked about all of these things, right? Well, I'll tell you what happened. He put out about 10, 12 videos. Now, like within about 3 weeks after, he started posting about it and started sharing his thoughts on it and what he thought happened and how he thought, the official narrative was a ruse. They were all lying to us, that he didn't believe that Charlie was actually gone and all of this. He unlisted. Thankfully, I had some of the videos saved. I had the links actually saved. So I was able to still access some of them. But he unlisted every single one of them. And now, he hasn't posted about it. He hasn't talked about it. He hasn't addressed it in any of his videos. Every single video of his now, up until the fires, is just about Hawaii real estate. And he refuses to address it. So what do you think happened? Do you think he got a call? Do you think he got an offer? Something happened. Something happened to where he was either offered something or was threatened. Okay? Because you don't just enlist all of your videos, every single one of them, just because you're like, you would have given some kind of explanation. Go to his channel and you'll see what I mean. Now, the last time I checked it was about 3 weeks ago, okay? So, if anything has been posted since then, I don't know. But my point is that he enlisted every single video, and he had 12, 13 videos about the event, okay? One where he was sitting in his, ice bath, machine, to where he was doing a cold plunge, He was sitting there talking about all of this, and I've even got one here where he's talking about it. So it's but he enlisted every single one of them. Every single one of them. It might have. It was one or the other. It was either he was threatened or he was offered something, and he took them all down. That's my belief anyway. Okay. I'm trying to find the video where we actually see an object hit the roof. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go, I bet he's got it. I bet Into Thin Air more than likely has it on his X account. So I'm going to go there here in just a second, because I'm scrolling through my photos and I'm really not seeing it. I'm just seeing all these other videos that I've got. Let's see. This was after, the crime scene wasn't taped off. Everybody was walking around it. They were just doing whatever they wanted to do, basically. Okay, and then there's the kid that was being interviewed, that Cooper actually interrupted and said, no, you can't be interviewed. And said, you can't, I don't know what he said to him. We never did hear it, right? Yeah, that stinks. I can't find it. But I know you'll take my word for it, because it's out there. Let's try to find it, actually. I'll try to find it in a minute. Let me explain how this technology works, okay? Now, I believe that his security detail, the objects that they were picking up and putting in their pockets, they were small enough to fit in the pocket. And I believe that they were these tiny holographic projectors. That's what I believe. Because it can project an image onto a person, okay? To where even if you're standing, 50 foot away with a camera, what you're picking up on the camera is what the image is projecting, okay, onto a human being. Imagine a bunch of phones around you. Each one has a little holographic projector built in. Okay, it finds all of those projecting devices in an area, figures out what paths a moving hologram could take using all of those devices together, chooses one of those possible paths, makes the hologram move along that path by having all the projectors work in sync, so the object looks smooth and continuous. All right. How it works without the geek speak. First, the system detects all the mobile devices nearby that can project holograms, like scanning the room for hologram buddies. Next, it calculates all the possible routes that the hologram could take based on where the projectors are physically located and what angles they can cover. Basically, if the phones are here, there, and everywhere, what paths can the hologram actually follow? Once it knows the possible paths, the system selects one, like choosing the best trail on a hiking map. Now, here's the cool part. The devices all project the same holographic object, and it can be a moving object, okay? But at slightly different angles and moments, so that to your eyes, it looks like that object is flying or walking through the space. Think of a dragon flying around a room. The projectors hand off the visual seamlessly as it moves. And it has a bunch of extra things that this patent covers. Range and position awareness. Device control hierarchy, which means one device can act as the boss, telling the others when and how to project. Smooth handoff between devices. If a hologram moves out of the range of one projector, another device takes over projecting it. So you never see a glitch. That is one of the key things right there. If it moves out of range, if one of those objects were knocked out of place, another device takes over, projecting it, so you never see a glitch, okay? Now, why am I so adamant about this being the technology used? Why am I so adamant? I'm going to show you why I'm so adamant. We see a chair go through the table. Did you see it? Hang on. Let me adjust. I'm sorry. I don't for one second not believe that this is what happened. I just don't. As far as even whether he's alive or not, and I believe he probably is alive, because you can definitely survive an electrocution. Okay. Now, listen to this. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit.
Remember this day, right? So I'm gonna do something. I think it's much easier to see it on here than it is anywhere else. Okay, this is the after part, okay? going to show you something.
Did you see it?
There's going to be a chair that guy pushes, okay? Watch.
All right, no, it hadn't happened yet. I'm sorry. I wasn't looking.
Okay, watch the chair.
See it?
Right there.
See it?
Right there. Hold
Look
on.
at
Let me see if I can pull it back.
It went through the table.
Okay. Let's see if I can slow her down. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Okay. The chair.
I have found other videos of this. All right. Let's go to X, because I'm telling you right now that this is not an edited video. As far as once it was put up, it was put up. Okay. I tell you what, Babylon B. Here, this is what we're going to say to Babylon B. You are choosing sides in a game that has no sides. Congratulations. You played yourself. That's what I believe. All of it, everybody involved. All of this is me even just sitting here talking about it is a distraction. It's a distraction. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Chair goes through table. This is how I found it last time. Hang on. I'm sorry. This keeps happening. I apologize. All right. Now, that way you can see it from the top down. I'm going to scoot it over here. All right. Yeah, this is everywhere. This is everywhere. That was September 20th, September 21st. Now, let's see if there are any replies to this. Excuse me. Let's see if anybody called this out and see if it was fake. From the Q-ting at Tova. Okay, let's see if it's real. Because I should have done this before the stream. I apologize.
Are you shitting me?
Hang on a minute. It might be edited. And you know what? This one might be edited. Who knows? Hang on. Yes, it did. Look, did you see it? It did happen. Did you see it? It's still happening. Hang on. It still happened. Yeah. Yeah. Apparently you don't have eyes. Whoever this is, they don't have eyeballs. He said, wait a minute. Oh, okay. Maybe he's trolling. He said, I changed my mind. You got me. Yeah, you got me too, bro. Okay. Yeah, it happened. It got even weirder. It gets even weirder. Yeah, that is weird. Look at that. Look, look. This is why I say that this was this was a holograph. This was a holographic projection of some sort. Somebody put the chair on the table where Charlie puts his microphone down after he speaks, and then it was off balance with the metal legs and fell onto a small platform. What you're seeing is the shadow from the table. We all know, okay, yeah, well, the shadow from the table. No, you clearly see it. You see the leg. The leg. The leg go through. The leg itself. Look, I don't think we're all imagining something. That's not possible. That's not possible. Not in our physical world, right? Okay, so that's been determined to be true, at least in my opinion. So here's my problem with Candace. I'm going to tell you my problem with Candace before I move on any further. Okay, my problem with Candace, as far as what she has been doing, is that there are certain things that she refuses to talk about.
Incrediware's the first.
Sorry. Certain things she refuses to cover and talk about, right? Why is that? Why does she refuse to... Okay, that's just old meathead. I didn't know which link that was. Okay, because I didn't have them labeled. That's the one that shows... Yeah. Yeah. Those were the ones that were being posted. Hang on, Deidre, let me see what you said. From this view the other day where the person's knee went into the ground, but here the platform is in front of his knee and it can't be seen. Where are these videos being posted? Okay, I'm getting them off of X. Some of them are on X, some of them are on YouTube. Okay. Yeah. And all of them are from, right, like, they're dated just a few days after it happened. So see. This person says, no, the chair didn't go through the table. It doesn't have back legs. It's just a chair like this. Okay, well, hang on a minute. Let's look at it. It wasn't the back legs that went through the table, though. That's what they're not understanding. It was the side of the chair that went through the table. The side of the chair, not the back. The side of the chair goes through the table. Okay. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Candace, why doesn't she talk about anything like this? Why does there are plenty of inconsistencies that she has refused to cover. So let's go over a few of them. And this is what I was actually supposed to do after the Baron video, but I didn't do it. So number one, let's see. These are the inconsistency. I really need to go to like vocal coaching or something because my tongue is like all over the place. Okay, these are the inconsistencies and problems from that day. Okay, I know that a lot of people have already went over them, but I'm going to go over them one more time. And here's another thing. Now, the guy over at the Trigger Smart channel, I can't remember his name. He did an exceptional video that focused mainly on Charlie's security detail. And look, I'm not going to get getting into too deep into that as far as the aspect of it, of the actual security, but he covered just about everything. All the details that we know about Dan Flood, Brian Harpole, and the rest, okay? And the rest of the people, rest of the detail. The video, it's 5 days old, but go watch it if you haven't. It's called Inside the Security Rivalry That Exploded Before Charlie Kirk's Death. Inside the security, just go to Trigger Smart channel. Just go to the Trigger Smart channel. You'll see it from 5 days ago. Now he covers it extensively. But yeah, I have a problem with Candace because I think she's still playing a part in all of this, regardless. And then her drama with Tim Pool and Jeremy, we're going to cover that as well at the very end because I'm not going to stay on here very much longer. Okay, the actual boom sounded lower caliber than a 30-06. I have hunted and used firearms my entire life. Okay. That was not a 30-06. Not the caliber as far as the sound. It didn't sound like it either. Okay. CCTV of Tyler on roof appears to be either AI generated or edited. Maybe both. Because there's no shadow when he walks across the white part of the roof, right? There's nobody fleeing. The people that you see in the background, they're just walking around as if it's just any old day. And then the people that walk behind the tree disappear. They disappear. There's no actual clear footage of Tyler Robinson. That's a big problem. The footage in the stairwell doesn't look anything like him whatsoever. It doesn't. It doesn't. Supposed footage of him that Candace said she saw when he was walking past Phil Lyman's aunt's house, right? Or somewhere in the area of that, walking with a girl. Okay? And don't forget the truck that stopped, like that ended up stopping in the road as he's walking past Phil Lyman's aunt's house. He's a weird one too. He's weirdly connected to all of this. You know, so many people involved that were his family members. But the truck pulls up, and Tyler is on the corner. The truck pulls up, says something out the passenger side window, and you don't see what happens, and then they drive off. Okay? Footage of Tyler Robinson at Dairy Queen, and then the Dairy Queen was shut down. The previous one that George Webb actually stopped at had recently been remodeled, to my understanding, because he stopped at 2 different Dairy Queens. But the one that Tyler Robinson was at had the old brown tile floor in it. You know, the old tile flooring in it from older builds. Because like our local Dairy Queen has that old floor in it too. The claim that the feds said that Tyler Robinson changed clothes multiple times on the way there. How do you do that? How do you do that? Claims by the feds that he disassembled and reassembled the weapon in record time. Then when it was found, it was supposedly disassembled again, although he left the screwdriver on the roof. Okay? None of this makes any sense. Trajectory of the shot makes 0 sense as to where he was struck. Multiple objects can be seen striking the tent, as I said earlier. Ceiling. Actually, let me see if I can find that one. Object hits tent roof. Let's look. Okay, that's him running. Hang on. Here we go. I found it. You see it happen. Yep. That's it. Let me, hang on. Can you see it good enough? Let me see. Let me see if it'll go full screen. Or at least I can zoom in or make it bigger or something. Because, let me increase the size. Because you can actually see it here. He's secretly an octopus, yeah. To be able to change clothes like that and to be able to take apart a rifle in record time. Yeah, right. Okay. Can you see this pretty good? Look at this. Violence. Great. Did you see it? Look. Yes, something did go up and hit the roof. It was a black-looking object that flew up and hit the roof. Okay? No idea what that could have been. I think it could have been there was something definitely rigged in his shirt somehow that made the, a practical effect, very possibly. Okay. Here we go. No red stuff or splatter anywhere. Anywhere except on the guy with the medium length hair. He had a little bit on his hand. And then I seen somebody else that had just a little bit on him. And that was it. That was it. If this had been a 30-06, it would have been a red stuff bath. Okay? It'd have been everywhere. It'd have been unimaginable. Okay? It'd have been so much worse than what we saw. 0 attempt for police to preserve the crime scene, yet they quarantined the SUV for evidence after they supposedly got him to the hospital. 0 anticipation of any other shots following the first. None of his security detail are worried about any other shots, or any other lead projectiles going off. Not concerned a bit. Not a bit, not in the slightest. They don't care. And they weren't taking cover in anticipation of it either. Cameraman grabbing the same chair that he was just sitting in and was unalived in. He stands in it to remove the SD cards, and then he takes down the cameras. Okay, why would you do it that way? That was strange to me. And he was constantly looking around when he was doing it. Thousands of attendees, only a handful of actually make it, only a handful of clips actually make it online. Just a handful. Not many. But 3,000 people are there. And they were pre-edited. Every single one was pre-edited. So what they did was they used practical effects and the holographic technology that I was talking about in order to make this happen. And then the actual practical electrocution, excuse me, to make it believable. To make it believe something did happen to Charlie. Yes, something did happen to him, but they staged it in a way to where, guess what? The reason why you hear a shot is because somebody fired a blank. And that person very well could have been Tyler Robinson. Who knows? Whoever was on that roof, they fired a blank. That's what I'm saying. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. They fired a blank. That's why it didn't sound as loud as a 30-06. I've heard blanks fired. They're not as loud as a regular, there's a little bit of a distinction as to what it sounds like when you fire a blank, okay? Thousands of attendees, like, I already said that. How this was done is they pre-edited the footage. They made sure that whoever else recorded was blocked from uploading, and we know exactly how they do that. They have technology and have for a very long time. They delete the videos remotely, and it's very simple technology that they've had for years. Also, they not only delete videos, but they can completely cut off your, they can just go get a jammer. They can get a cell phone jammer, a signal jammer. That's pretty, the lapel, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Absolutely. Not a single ambulance on scene. When have you ever seen an event that did not have one ambulance on scene? So they didn't anticipate it. They did not anticipate this happening. They did not anticipate, they anticipated it. They knew it was going to happen. My point is that they knew he wasn't going to perish. And then the EMTs, they completely ignored the EMT. 2 EMTs run up with med bags. And like, here, take the med bag. Like, let me get to him. And they're getting him in the SUV. And they are ignored as if they don't exist. They're trying to hand him off the bag to even just take the bag. They ignored it. Where were all the college students in the crowd is what I want to know. What's up with all the guys in the maroon shirts? Now, there were some younger looking men in maroon shirts that Candace pointed out. But where was all the actual college students? The people that I saw in the crowd, there was a lot of older folks that weren't in college, I'm telling you. So, yes, that's why there was a 3,000 plus person gag order. None of these people could talk about it. Only the ones that they cleared, okay? Brian Harple, okay? And then the kid that was on the the LDS, there was an LDS channel that posted an interview with this kid that was there, who claimed was there. And he tells the story of how traumatic it was to watch Charlie get hit. Okay? Let me just do it this way. Latter Day. I can't remember. It's called Latter Day Media, or I can't remember the name of it. I'll find it. It's a channel. Latter Daily Saints, excuse me. But there is a video here. I'll go ahead and just click on his channel here. And look here. If you haven't seen it yet, and of course he's still talking about September 10th as well. Where did it go? I've watched it. It hasn't been that long. Okay, LDS Church exposes. No. Here it is. Eyewitness of Charlie Kirk's assassination is held hostage by therapist. He claims he got held hostage by a therapist, okay, after it happened. So I would assume that even though that happened to him, he was still cleared, right? He was still cleared to say certain things, okay? Brian Harpole was as well. And this kid was too. There's only certain people that have been cleared to talk. And they know that there's certain things they can say and can't say. Meta Glasses guy, Dan Flood. Need I say any more? How many times did we see him tapping the Meta Glasses? It was at least 4 or 5 times to my count after watching, excuse me, sorry. I know that I just probably busted your eardrums. Probably at least 4 times that I can recall. All right. Now I just lost my spot. Don't ever ask me to sing. I sound like a cat dying. Okay, yes. And someone was giving a countdown. Absolutely. I have a clip of that as well. We can find that. I can find that later. But it was on it would have been on Charlie's left. The guy in the front where the fence was, he was throwing up, he threw up a 5, and then he threw up a 4, and then he threw up a 3, like 5-minute countdown, 4-minute countdown, 3-minute countdown. That happened too. We witnessed in slow-mo footage. Okay, this one's going to blow your mind, and this is why I say it was a hologram. It was done with holographic technology. Okay, we witnessed in slow-mo footage that the wound that was on his neck, it stays in the same place on the screen, even as Charlie's head and neck move. That's not possible. I think Peggy has this one. She's another one you need to watch. She's awesome. If you don't know who she is in tune with everything that's going on right now. Okay? She's awesome. She's the one that pointed out the really weird, it's like, why would Charlie have so much makeup on his hands? They look like mannequin hands, right? Whenever he was in the casket. And it's like, and why would she post that if she wants it to be private? Okay? Obviously, I honestly believe that that the amount of makeup on his fingers and hands was because obviously we saw him get electrocuted and they were charred. And you can actually still see a little bit of it on there. Okay. Where did it go? A master builder. Yeah, that's another thing that they kept saying. Trump called Charlie Kirk a master builder. And that is Masonic Lodge, Freemasonry. That's like Freemason signaling. That's a signal that they send to each other. That's an actual title that they have in the organization, is a master builder. Okay. Okay. I had it here. She's got it. She's got the footage of that you don't see the wound actually move on his neck. Okay. Okay. Let me now she just talks about the parallels between this day and obviously Freemasonry and what some of them believe in, tarot stuff. Okay, hang on a minute. I'm gonna find it because it's wild. It's wild. Well, I better not show it, even though I know I'm not I'm not obviously monetized, but I'm trying to maybe one day get monetized. Let's see. She had it. Wound doesn't move. Let me go to X. Wound doesn't move. Stays in place on neck. You can find it like that. I might not be able to find it on here. I wish JF would shut up. I used to listen to him on, there used to be this podcast of these degenerates, what they were, called The Kill Stream. And the Ralph Retort, Ethan Ralph ran the podcast, and they had a show. This is back before I was saved, okay? So don't judge me. JF Gariepy would come on there, and he's a Frenchman. He's the Frenchman that Valhalla VFT covered, that said that, JF Gariepy, he thinks that he solved the case and thinks that he knows what happened to Charlie and all this other stuff, and thinks that he actually did get kabloom, kabow. But JF actually is under suspicion by the authorities, Canadian authorities. I think he still is, because his girlfriend went missing back in July of 2023, and he claimed that he went and dropped her off at a park or in the woods or something. And then when he came home, he said he deep cleaned his house. And everybody has accused him of actually unaliving her. That's not a joke. Like, there's so many videos. That's another rabbit hole you can go down. It's that he's what I'm saying is that he's not somebody who's reliable. He's not somebody that I would trust him with any kind of information, regardless of his physicist or biologist or whatever he is background. I wouldn't trust it. I wish I could find that clip, though, of the wound. It doesn't move. It stays in one place, which why I said that lines up with my holographic technology theory. Again, where is all the red stuff that's supposed to be all over him? Cell phones going out at the event. We've already covered that. And what about these guys where the vehicle was parked and the trunk was open? They had tack gear on behind them, like in the breezeway where Charlie first drove in. There was several vehicles sitting back there. Sudden urge to deeply. Yeah, he did. That's a true story. Like that's a big deep rabbit hole you can go down, because he laughs about it. He laughed about it. Okay. And she was a little slow. Like, she had some problems, like mentally. And it was terrible. I'm just saying, that's a whole other thing. Like, she used to come in on his live streams sometimes, and you could tell that she was a little slow, and he took advantage of that. He's somebody who has apparently a high IQ, and he took advantage of her, basically. And her parents actually tried to get her away from him because of the fact that she had, that she was mentally handicapped. And no, they weren't able to get her away from him. And look what happened. Now she's been missing this whole time. And I looked it up yesterday. She's still missing. Still missing. This is in Canada. I have no idea where he's hiding, because the last I heard, he actually wasn't hiding, because they were trying to find him to question him again. I think he might have had a warrant too. Okay, the trunk that was open. What was that all about? And what was up with the guys in the tack gear that were in the back? That was weird. What's in the bag, Mikey? Candace pointed that out. Mikey McCoy was hauling a big old backpack, right? What's in the bag? Okay, the setup was there. Charlie telling Candace that he didn't think he'd be around long. He even told Frank Turret the same thing. He said that his life was in danger, and thought that something was going to happen to him the next day. Breaking financial ties with Philadelphia prior, and knowing the text would be shown. Social media posts of people saying that CK would lose his life days and weeks prior, and that it was going to happen at UVU. That happened as well. We had all kinds of people on X that, or Blue Sky and X, I think, that posted and said that he was going to be unalived. And then you had the the person, the name starts with an L, Jesse on Fire covered it, that posted, that actually premiered a song about Charlie Kirk's demise like a month beforehand. So they knew it was going to happen. And isn't it strange that nobody else has come forward to talk about Tyler Robinson? Except that one guy. There was one guy that came out and talked about Tyler. One guy. That's it. All right. Tyler Robinson, classmate. One person has come out. This guy.
I'll show y'all. That's him right there. Tyler Robinson. I'm not trying to clout chase, make this shit about me, but I'm not gonna say I knew this kid really well, I didn't know him very well at all, but I definitely saw him for like 3 straight years in high school. And the best way I could describe him is just like a Reddit kid. I don't know. I feel like if you were in high school.
Yes, Deidre. Yes. It's like Les or something. I can't remember. It's a weird name. It's a strange, unheard of name. Starts with an L. Yeah, it's a musician. Yeah, and has ties. Yeah, and to has ties to the alphabet furry, the roommate, right? Has ties to them.
School around that same time, and even probably now, like 2018, and then like those kinds of kids. But that's exactly what he was. All I'm gonna say is this is the kind of shit that happens when you spend way too much time online, and all of a sudden your beliefs are all the way this way or all the way this way, and you do some dramatic shit to please these people that are not your friends. This internet shit is seriously no joke.
Okay. He's the only one. Lance. Was it Lance? Is it Lance? No, there was no, I'm not talking about Lance Twiggs. I'm talking about the person that actually put the song out. It wasn't Lance. It was somebody else that Jesse talks about. I'd have to dig up the name. I can't remember. There's too many people involved. But my point is that yeah, you're right. Yeah, Lance is the furry. Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking the other person though that had a strange name that actually released the song. But my point is that only one person has come out. That one guy is the only one that's come out and talked. Why? And what is this? Grok said this later. What is this? Hang on. Okay, this is weird. Read that. Called a targeted lone gunman attack that the PRE died by unaliving. Sky, yes, you're right. Sky Valdez, yes. Yeah, you're right, Sky. Lone gunman attack that the PRE died by unaliving, self-unaliving. Owens has promoted the theories of Egyptian planes trafficking, the Kirks, internal betrayals, and Kirk's final warnings, framing. So that's what Grok said. Why did Grok say this after it happened? What? Now, this was posted December 10th, 3 days ago. Why did Grok say this after it happened? That is strange. That is strange. I'm still stuck on the fact that he's the only person that's come out to talk about Tyler. The only person. Yeah, I think that, the Grok can't be, Grok isn't reliable whatsoever. And I think that could have been just a fluke, because I've had it tell me some crazy stuff before. But this kid here, no. It's very strange that, I'm going to save this one. It's very strange that he's the only one. That's it. That's it. He's the only one. Okay. Probably just a random coincidence. But does anybody recall this one audience attendee possibly higher-ranked military brass at Tyler Robinson's 2021 graduation? He was obviously there for Tyler, considering he acknowledged him with a thumbs-up salute. Huh. Like I said, he might have been involved to an extent. That he was molded and he was...
Robinson. Tyler Robinson.
This is him.
Alejandro D'Angelo Rodriguez.
Yep, that's awful funny. That's awful funny. Yeah, he was probably being groomed. That was the word I was looking for. More than likely being groomed. That would not surprise me in the slightest. I'm gonna tell you right now. Not in the slightest. That he was actually there and he's the one that pulled the trigger and fired a blank. That's it. That's all he did. Was he showed up, he did the job, he fired a blank, and he was out of there. That's very possible. But as far as the surveillance footage, I think all of that is edited in AI, honestly. UVU began construction just a couple days after it happened. Obviously, had nothing to do with the memorial that they were going to claim that they were going to build. Had nothing to do with it. They tore up the then covered area with concrete where CK was sitting. And when Ian and Carol visited the campus, there was work being done where the trapdoor was located. Whenever Ian and Carol showed up, they had the trapdoor open and were working there where it was at. Okay, let me propose something here. Just think for a second. If a single catfisher, if a single person can create 30 fictional identities and have them all interacting with one another online, right? On social media, then the feds can create as many as they want themselves with a flick of a wrist and have AI run it, right? So what I'm saying is they can create anyone's from thin air and they can erase you and make you, disappear completely. And look, I'm going to say this about Candace before I get off the subject. If Candace wasn't controlled in any way, I've already said this. I feel like she would be asking tons of other questions and that she would not be focused simply. And look, where are the receipts for the planes? I want to know where that is. I want to know where the receipts are for the Egyptian planes because Crowder claims that he debunked her, which I don't think he did. But I don't believe anything he says anyway. I take everything Candace says with a grain of salt. But why isn't she covering the shady 990 forms, tax forms? The, their tax forms. I don't understand that at all. She mentioned it on X whenever I was watching Didi. Didi got a podcast. I don't know if you watch him, but I was watching whenever he started talking about it, whenever he brought the auditor on, the guy that audited, and went through the 990s and the forms. And Candace was like, oh, well, this isn't right, and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, there was one piece of information that the guy got wrong, but the rest of it was correct, right? So it's like, Candace, you're doing the same thing to this guy that people are trying to do to you, that you're saying that just because he got this one little detail wrong in the report, like in the forms, about the forms, that completely discredits everything he has to say. That's not cool. That ain't cool. So why does she refuse to step outside of the official narrative in terms of Charlie being struck? She either legitimately believes that he was blasted, that he was pew-pewed, or she's just playing devil's advocate because of being controlled opposition, right? There are plenty of creators, that are sticking very close to the official narrative. There's tons of them. And look, they refuse to deviate, right? And they're revealing themselves to either be bought and paid for, or lacking critical thinking, or their allegiance is to Philadelphia. And I think it's the former. I think it's the former and the latter. I think it's both. And people like Gary, Paramount Tactical, have connections. Gary is friends with Brian Harpole. So of course he's not gonna, of course not. Of course he's not going to defend, or of course he's going to stick to the official narrative. He's not going to deviate from that. He's going to stick to exactly what Brian is telling him. Right. Yeah. Well, it's like, Candace, did you see his body? Like, were you there? Like, no. Like, then you can't believe it. And I don't believe it. That's just the way I feel about it. But Gary, yeah, he's friends with Brian Harpole. Let's look at Crowder, Fuentes, Tatum, Biddy Johnson, Tim Pool, Jeremy Hambly. I could sit here and name creators or influencers all day long. all day long that are sticking to the official narrative and are using the leftist playbook and calling us crazy and refusing, right? Refusing to even entertain any other possibilities. Okay? So picture this. You hire someone to come in and do you train somebody up like Tyler. All you got to do is go up to the roof, man, and fire this blank. That's all you got to do. We got everything else on the ground covered. All right. We've got our jammers in place, our cell phone jammers in place. We've only got one person actually that's going to be live streaming, and then we've got everybody else. We've got to make sure that they don't. We have to actually give them our footage that we're going to have. Like, they're not allowed to release this footage until we get it edited. But that's just the thing with a holographic projector, like the kind of technology that I'm talking about. That's easy. Like, all they got to do is just say, like, record what actually happened right in front of you, right? Like the hologram is projecting onto the person, and you see this happen, and your camera's picking it all up. And then the feds say, okay, we're going to allow these 5 people or these 10 people to release their footage that they've already seen, that, that's on their phones. But everybody else, we need to delete their footage, or we need to call them or we need to just block their cell phone signals, right? Where they can't send anything out. And that's probably what they did, to where they couldn't send anything out, to where it was selective. They were able to be selective in who sent out their footage, right? So technically it wasn't edited. It was just a holographic image that they took with their phone, right? That played out right in front of them. No, she hasn't. No, she hasn't called that out, Deidre. The hand size, no. And the fact that it looks like mannequin hands. So my biggest question of all of this, as far as when it comes to the insiders and everything, why was Brian Harpo allowed to speak on it whatsoever? Since there was a gag order. I mentioned it earlier, and then the kid on the LDS channel that I mentioned a few minutes ago, who, he was allowed to talk about it. That's what I'm saying. They were cleared. They were cleared by the feds to be able to speak about it because they knew what they could and couldn't say. Ask yourself why certain people will question it, but others refuse to, right? I've heard this argument used and try to solidify the narrative that actually CK is alive, that he's alive. Listen, if they were going to actually take him out, if he was going to actually perish, and they were going to go through with taking him completely out, they would have done it privately, discreetly, and made it look like an accident. If they wanted it clean, cut, done, over with, donezo, yeah, they would have done it privately if they were actually going to do it. I can no longer, but here's the thing about that. Here's the thing about that. I can no longer hold this perspective as far as actually holding it 100% for one reason only. They needed the world to see it, right? That was the point. So whether he's alive or not, the motivations of how the event itself took place would influence particularly the Christian right. All right? Now, something that, a TV show like Game of Thrones taught me, I'm serious. You know what it taught me? That you have to think of every move, every possible play, every single action that someone could possibly take against you or against others. And when it comes to the elites, our government, the agency, the bureau, then adding in all of these other smaller groups into the espionage, pile that we do business with, it's endless. The possibilities are endless. So here's the big question that everybody wants answered, okay? How do you why would you do this? How do you, it's a 2-part question. How do you do this? And why do you do this? And how do you get to the Christian right? The Christian conservative right, okay? How do you get them on your side, the elite side, of what they're trying to accomplish in terms of taking away our firearms, stripping our freedoms, and trying to fulfill prophecy on their own and fool people into thinking that the Antichrist, once presented, is actually God. How do you do that? Well, you shake them up a little bit. You make them think twice about being so open about their views, and then maybe they won't be willing to go against the official narrative, right? But you also get them rejoicing in a supposed Christian's demise by celebrating their life after their passing. All of these people at Turning Point have been using the name of God without mentioning repentance. Okay? Every single one of them that have talked about God or Christianity have not said a one single iota word, nothing about repentance or forgiveness and being born again. Okay? It says you got to be born again. They haven't said a word about that. That's false doctrine. I just put out a video about that. Now, that will be the lead-in to the Antichrist. I believe that wholeheartedly. Declaring himself to be God without the need for people to repent. Just turn to him, right? So how do you do all of that? You create a martyr. No matter who someone served behind the scenes, what matters is who the public believes they serve, right? Like, that's all that matters. It's the perception. We don't know. We never knew Charlie. You didn't know him. I didn't know him. And what was his true motivations? Who knows? But I do know that he was a Mason. And I do know that he did business with Grant Cardone, who is a very open Scientologist. And him and Erica went to many events of Grant's. And actually, Erica wore a necklace that was the same symbol that they use on for Scientology. It was like 2 or 3 different infinity symbols, and she was wearing them. So that's why I say I don't believe for 1 second that he wasn't involved with any of this stuff, with the Masons, with actually trying to subvert and trying to deceive the public. I believe that he played his role and his time was over. Okay? That's what I believe. Or maybe he had a real threat. Maybe there was a real threat against his life. Maybe that's true. And this was his way of actually getting his life saved because they staged it. Why? It would explain why everybody else is acting so crazy and so weird and lying, blatantly lying. When you tell the truth, when you always tell the truth, that's what my grandmama used to tell me. When you always tell the truth, you never have to worry about keeping up with your story because you're not lying about it, right? You don't have to worry about that. Okay. One of the last things I wanted to cover. Now, I do believe now I know all this was messy and very disorganized, and I apologize. I wish I could be a better presenter at this stuff, but I'm just not yet. I'll get there. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to cover Mr. Jeremy Hambly and Tim Pool. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it this way. All right? Because I have a few words to say to Tim Pool, regardless of what role he's playing in this, him and Candace both, because they're both actors, in my opinion. They're controlled opposition. They're the ones that are setting the stage. It's bread and circuses, like I said. They're just, this is one big distraction. One big distraction, because now people aren't actually looking into what happened that day, except for Baron and a few other people in Valhalla, right? I still believe you can. I know for a fact you can survive an electrocution. I believe that's what happened to him. I believe that he's still alive. Beanie Shapiro, that's right. That's right. And I made a video. I told you, I posted about it on my channel. It was like an hour, almost hour-long video about all of this, about the whole drama. And I lost about 40 minutes of footage twice, and I never could get it back. So I just said, screw it. I'm just going to export what I've got, and then I'll cover it on here. Okay, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not going to worry about it. I said, screw it. Let's just do it. I'll tell you somebody else who I really like. You ever watch Tyler Wood? The Tyler Wood Encounter. He's on fire for God, and man, I love that. I love that. There's one more video that I'm gonna I want to do this first. Let's do this first because this solidifies my point as to why this would happen. Okay, why anybody would where'd it go? Why the elites would manufacture something like this? You know, I told you it was to get to the Christian right. How do you get to the Christian right? You take out one of their guys. Okay, that's how you change their mind. That's how you mold and influence them. Okay, let me find it. I've got to find the. I don't even remember the guy's channel name. I might have to go back and actually, I've got it here. I've got the. Hang on, I've got it. Just let me find it here. This is it right here. Where is it? Come on. There we go. All right. This guy, he's kind of like me. You know, he's not the best at, I mean, he's pretty good, but he's not the best at delivery. And I feel like I don't feel so bad when I watch him because I'm like, as good as he's doing right now, I mean, you know, it made me feel better is what I'm saying, because I'm like, you know, my delivery isn't the best either. So it totally made me feel better. I was like, he seems like a, you know, an honest guy. You know, I don't know him. But let's go to 14 minutes. This is when he starts talking about what the point is of what I'm getting to. Okay. It was about 14 minutes.
Know someone who wakes up at every...
Really? We're going to mute that. I'm so sick of ads. I could scream. I could just puke. I could just bleh. Just puke. Skip.
That in the CIA, they stated that the Christian man was the most dangerous because he was governed by a higher standard.
Didn't you see recently that Pam Bondi said that she's going to make a list? She's saying that a list is going to be made of extremists. Well, guess what? I have a buddy that used to work for the Bureau. He was a Fed. And guess what? He said that most Christians are already on that list.
Why Christians? I remember the Soviet Union made a statement that we could control all of our entire population except the Christians. And they had to put them in prison and in gulags. And I remember in 1994 when I was in the CIA, we ordered into a conference room. We all filed in. There's about 30 of us. And our division chief starts off by saying, now don't get mad at me. I'm just the messenger. This comes down from the director of the CIA. You can no longer say Merry Christmas in any CIA office space. You cannot have a manger scene on your desk or on your door, or you will face administrative penalty.
So you couldn't really control him. You couldn't do all these things to him. He would resist tyranny. He would resist the outside forces.
Now, mainly in this video, he talks about, you know, the feminization of men and why men have been feminized in today's culture because it makes them weak. It makes them not resist, right? And he's talking about specifically Christian men as well, and why so many people look at Christians as being weak, and it was done deliberately.
You see it today, obviously, that it is the truth, because why do they try to neuter these men? You walk into a church today, and I'm not saying all churches, I'm not saying if you're in your church, you're not a warrior, but by and large, when you take a step back, right, look down and look at the surroundings. This is what's happening, right? That's why Christianity is the most hated religion. You can openly trash it, right? You try that with another religion, you're going to be called anti-Semitic or so on.
That's right.
But Christianity is fair game to the world. They can say or do whatever they want. They can ridicule.
Now, I highly recommend you watching this entire video because of the fact that he talks about where the shift happened as far as in our country and why it happened. It happened because of Judeo-Christian values being introduced into our country. Okay. That's the name, that's the title Okay, I'm blocking it. It's the post-World War II Christian PSYOP nobody talks about. And that's from Black Scout Survival, okay? Black Scout Survival. Go check him out because I'm telling you, he's on the money. He believes exactly what we believe. And I'm with him. Like, we need more women in this space, though. There's mainly men talking about these things, and more women need to be in this space, okay? Now, let's go back to, let's go back up here. Fix that. There we go.
Cool. They can make fun of and all these sort of things, right?
Yeah, you can make fun of Christians.
Why do you think that is?
People don't care.
The world doesn't need more passive believers. It doesn't need people that will not stand up for the religion itself. It doesn't need more comfort Christians. It doesn't need more men who sit silently when evil advances. You look around and you see this trend this way. And it's sad. At the very base, you see it. We need warriors again.
Yep.
Men of conviction, men of backbone, men of discipline, men who train, who prepare, men who stand, men who protect. When you're on that subway, when you see something going on, you are there. You become the hero. Okay.
Sorry.
You take a stand for your beliefs. It's even like modern day now. It's wild to me that people who follow me are unclear why I've kind of deviated from the party that calls themselves conservatives when they do leftist things.
This is why I am not a Republican and will never be a Republican. I will never be a part of the political system ever again in my life.
I'm not saying I want any leftist ideologies to be in charge of anything. However, I can't sit silent whenever things that I thought we shared in beliefs, just because the man up there at the big house says, it's a hoax.
Right.
The 600,000 Chinese will be great for the country.
Yeah, right.
The H-1B visa is taking the college graduates' jobs.
Yeah, he's totally fine with that. Our president's opening that back up. He's making it easier to get visas. That way they can come in. And he actually called us stupid. Well, he didn't say stupid, but he did say that there wasn't that many intelligent people enough to fill the fields that the H-1B visa holders would fill. Yeah. He was basically saying that we lack the intelligence.
Conviction that I can't sit here and say, our team, go.
There you go, girl. Politics are far from God, no matter what side. There you go.
What I want to see is men who live like the early church, who live like the founders of this country, who live like warriors who built the West. Because if Christian men rise again, the entire system of manipulation collapses overnight. And they know it.
Yep.
Which is why the war against masculinity was never cultural. It was calculated. And you have churches and you have people that are willing to give all of our tax dollars to another country because Schofield wrote some notes in a Bible that said you're supposed to.
Yeah, he talks about the release of the Schofield Bible and how that's what shifted. That's what made our religious cultural shift happen in our country.
Right? It was calculated.
It was. It was deliberate.
And see, it ends when we decide it ends. That's why it's important to do your.
That's the weirdest part about all of this is the fact that people are waking up to the stranglehold that Philadelphia has on our country, on our politicians, on the elites, and on everyday people, on everyday Christians that actually still believe that they are God's chosen people in terms of, well, they're the favorites. No, that's Old Testament covenant law. Like, what are you talking about? There's a new covenant. It covers all of us. God doesn't have favorites. He loves us all equally. So, yeah, like, why? Look, I'm going to say something pretty controversial. But if anybody that is watching this that knows me, I'm sorry. But I'm going to go ahead and say it. Look, I love my church. I do. That is true. I do. I love the people in my church. There are a few there that have kind of snubbed their nose at me before. And they still do. They And I don't think it has anything to do with me in particular. I think it has to do with the fact that I'm married to a much older man. I think that's exactly what it has to do with, okay? I don't think it has to do with anything else. But for the most part, I get along with everybody, and now everybody loves me, and I love them, right? But here's something that I have a problem with, is that there are quite a few people in my church that I personally I'm close with them, who hold that belief, who hold the belief that they are God's chosen people, and that we basically, I don't know, need to be either subservient to them or give them special treatment. I don't really know. But I do know that a lot of them have actually been to that country and all that. But the problem is that you try to talk to them about it, and you say, look, they actually, like, if they find out you're a Christian and you're over there, they spit on you. So do you know what they do? They wear a yarmulke. I'm not joking. I'm talking about they will wear a yarmulke to make sure that they don't get spit on, because they already know. They already know that they'll get spit on, even though you try to talk to some of them about it, and they're like, oh, that doesn't happen. And I'm like, there's plenty of videos. They don't believe in Jesus. Most Orthodox Jews, I said the word, oh well. Most of them do not believe that Jesus is the Messiah. They have said the most heinous things about Jesus. Why in the world would you defend people that blaspheme his name? That's crazy to me. That say that their book says, their holy book says, that Jesus is burning in hell, covered in you know what. It's disgusting.
Pay attention to your church. What is happening there? What kind of outside forces? Because our chosen ally have sent groups to these churches. They're funding programs to push this narrative about this geopolitical.
Here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about it, though, is that my pastor doesn't actually push it. Like, he doesn't talk about it much. Like, he doesn't talk about them. Like, he talks about it in the historical sense, Israel, right? He doesn't talk about them modern day. He doesn't talk about how we should do this and we should do. He doesn't do that. So, you know, I'm right. So that's why I'm still there. But I will tell you this. This is another theological discussion, and I'm not a Bible scholar. I'm not a theologian. I am not an expert. I'm so far away from being an expert on the Bible. I'm not. I need to read it more because, the Lord's been talking to me lately, and he's been saying, look, you need to get in my word. I'm like, okay, Father, like, I need to. So, but here's the thing. I go to a Baptist church, a Southern Baptist church. And, we make jokes. Like, my pastor will make jokes about the rapture. He don't do it often. Every now and again he will. I don't believe in this is a whole different discussion, like I said, but I'm just going to go on and say it. I don't believe in a pre-tribulation rapture, even though most of the people in my church do. Okay? Because that was another deception that was adopted just because of the Schofield Bible and because of other things that people have said and other things that people, actually there was one particular person, I'll have to look it up later, that actually created this belief. It was in the late 1800s, I believe, that created the belief that we were going to be raptured out of here before the tribulation, whenever God's word doesn't say that. It doesn't give a particular time frame as to when the rapture is going to happen. Because I always had the argument that, well, if Jesus is going to come back and rapture you, or rapture us, and then the tribulation happens, and then he comes back again, wouldn't that be the third coming instead of the second coming? Because he's supposed to rapture us up into the clouds with him, and then the tribulation, and then he comes back. See, that would be called the third coming, not the second. The first coming is when he was here on earth. The second is whenever the day of the Lord happens, right? Whenever the earth is, like, everything is destroyed, everything's gone, and he takes the earth back. So anyway, my point is that I don't believe in a pre-tribulation rapture, and I'm not going to say I never have. I'm saying that once I started doing research on it, I got more informed. I was more informed on it.
Judeo-Christian. There's no such thing.
I've been streaming for 3 hours.
Judeo-Christian will be the same thing as saying Islam Christian.
Exactly.
Would be the same thing.
See, this is going to be the weird part about it, is that it's actually going to fulfill prophecy, because whether people know it or not, and I think a lot of people are aware of this, is that there will be an uprising against Philadelphia. Okay? And this will be the cause of it. God says it'll happen. But Israel, I've already said it, so I might as well just stick with it. You know, he's going to take it back. He's going to take it back. So that way the people that are evil, we do know that saints do arise in those days, like in the last days, right? That will be in Israel. So I think that this is going to fulfill prophecy, though. This is the start of it, that people are going to start waking up and start turning against them. And it's going to be a fulfillment of prophecy. That's exactly what's going to happen. The important part is, my point is the important part is to not get caught up in it, right? To not show like a deep-seated hatred for those people. And I think people like Nick Fuentes, even though he's revealing the truth, he's doing it in a way that is unkind, and he doesn't care. Say, look, you can expose people without hating them. I'm trying to do that myself. You can expose people without hating them. You don't have to hate them. You can just expose their evil deeds. That's my point. Okay. Yeah, go watch his video. It's pretty good. I'm going to swap back over here too. We're going to listen to Timmy for a minute, and then I'm going to get out of here. Yeah, really, yeah, it would have to be fake. I'll know everything I need to know about all of this. It would have to be fake. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, it's one of those things that, you know, I just don't believe that's going to happen. I think that we're going to have to endure the tribulation. That's my belief. I honestly believe that. I don't know how else it would go. You know, I've had dreams. I'll talk about it. I'll make some videos on it one day. God sent me 3 different dreams. And they've stuck with me over the years, you know. The last one I had was about 2 years ago. And I'll share them one day, but they've stayed with me this whole time. And it told me that I'm probably going to be alive during the tribulation. That's what it told me. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm going to start burping all over my microphone. Help. Where did I go? Where's QuickTime? Where did you go, QuickTime? Where is it? I can't find it. Wait. Hang on. I was supposed to film a video today, but I've got one about, you know who Akash Singh is? In the Flagrant podcast? They're a bunch of filthy people. I did a video on that, though. I think it's manufactured drama. I think they did it on purpose. I think the whole thing with them is, seriously, is manufactured. Okay. I was actually going to talk about Nick Fuentes, but we're not going to. I'm not going to worry about it. I ain't going to worry about Nick. You know, I ain't going to know about it. I ain't worried about it. Okay. I will say this about Nick, though. Whenever he went on Piers Morgan, okay, look, if my daddy, if he was living and he ever found out that I was dating a guy who acted like Nick and had all of his views about women especially, he'd want to knock him down a set of steps. Because he'd tell him that he has no respect for me as a woman, right? And I told you before, I 100% believe he is homosexual. Okay, I think he is homosexual. That's my perspective. I think he is. The biggest issue with him, though, is that he says he's a Christian. You know, he says he's a Catholic. Which, by the way, Candace is one as well, and Charlie was leaning heavily toward their doctrine. But that's a combo for another day. But, you know, I think they're no different than a cult. That's just, hope that doesn't offend you. If anybody's a Catholic, if you're a Catholic, I apologize, but we can't serve two masters. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by serving two masters? Nick is serving two masters, Nick Fuentes. Now, just by going off the things that he says, he thinks he's serving God, right? But he's also serving himself in that he's holding his own set of beliefs completely separate from the Bible. So yeah, he's serving two masters. And he doesn't care. He told everybody that he doesn't care. Well, that's not Christian like. Well, F you. That's what he said. But once Judgment Day rolls around, he's going to care. He'll care. You know, one could argue that the Bible doesn't comment or say anything about staying within your own race or ethnicity, because I don't really think it does. It does. It was specifically referring to the Jays, to the Philadelphians when it came to marrying and bearing children with someone of the same culture. Excuse me. They wanted to stay within the same tribe, right? And that's really all the Bible says about race and ethnicity. I mean, that's it. That was before Jesus gave his life for us under the old covenant. Under the new covenant, it don't apply, right? That doesn't apply. Meaning this is a personal belief that Nick has. It's not a biblical belief. And look, I would be a hypocrite. I'd be a hypocrite if I said that I don't have my own beliefs outside of what God's word says that I've ascribed, due to the fact that there isn't as much guidance on certain issues that we deal with, that the Bible really doesn't cover or is very specific about. But that's why we have to pray, right? For God to increase as we decrease, right? We need to be filled with all of him, and that we can get, and just not be anything else other than what he wants us to be, denying our flesh, trying to deny our own flesh and our own thoughts and opinions due to the world that we're now surrounded by. It's not impossible, but it sure as heck isn't, it's one of the hardest things I've ever done. I have to say that, like, it's one of the most difficult things I've ever done is try to have that balance, right? Now, where in the world is my QuickTime video? I have it pulled up. Okay. Let's listen to him screech, because now this is recorded video. It has my audio on it too. Hang on. Crap. He thinks everything is political. I got to fix this because it's frozen. See what it does. I don't know why it does that crap. I don't know why it does that. It's so weird. Come here, Timmy boy. Let me set you up over here. All right. Can you please play? Yet again, acting like a fool, cussing up a storm. Just listen to this.
Today, a large portion of people believe Turning Point, the victim, is actually the perpetrator. That's how terrifying the political climate is. The left doesn't have this degree of self-sabotage. And so if you think about, not only did the left get everything they could have dreamed of from the murder of Charlie Kirk. And again, I don't know what Robinson's political affiliation is. He's got a transferee boyfriend. We'll see what the evidence shows.
So you believe the FBI story?
Yeah, he believes it. Well, he's telling everybody that he believes it, but everybody knows that the feds are lying. The way he was stuttering whenever he was asked that was funny. Why him? Why Tim in particular? And Nicholas J. F., why they're both lying about this, why they're both sticking to the official narrative, really should make you question. I've told you, 99.9% of these conservative or libertarian leaning political influencers, they're nothing but plants.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Oh, what the FBI says, Terrell Robinson did all that. So,
do you believe that? I think that the evidence we have.
Oh, and another thing, Tim has to make everything about the political system. Everything.
Seen thus far, Occam's razor suggests Robinson is the likely culprit. We will see what happens in the trial.
The likely culprit.
But there's literally no other story. Just a bunch of
hang
on
the
internet saying stupid. And what that does is.
And what is the argument for that? See, he's using the lefty playbook. He's complained about it himself, y'all.
The organization that helped
just throwing ad hominems is my point.
Get Donald Trump elected which needs to persist. You're going to be a fan of it, but it certainly will help get individual congressional candidates elected and stop Democrats from launching new committees and putting more people in prison like Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro. Instead, it's being gutted by psychopaths telling people to pull their donations. So
yeah, you know what? We don't care. I don't. You know what's funny about this is that it took me these clips and then the other clips that he did before this. It took me like 2 hours to censor all the words that he said, because he just F-bomb after F-bomb, see you next Tuesday. Like he just couldn't stop. It was disgusting. They're going to be just fine. You'll hear me later on in the video expand on this, but I really don't care if a political organization goes broke. I don't care.
This organization burns to the ground. Don't care. So maybe they're fine. The organization that's rallying young people, causing a shift in the political leanings of a generation for the first time in history, is now in dire straits. Their leader and founder murdered. And
it's now in dire straits. Bro, they're $100 million organization. They're gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine, Tim.
Pieces of human trash are trying to destroy it. It's evil.
The irony of him calling it evil whenever the left and right, as far as the politicians that represent the left and the right, as far as I'm concerned, the vast majority are evil themselves, especially the elites that are behind them.
Pulls in front of my property and fires on it several times. I'm sitting here looking at these vile pieces of and thinking to myself, for what purpose will I stick my neck out if this is what happens if Charlie Kirk is killed? Candace Owens is a evil scumbag. She is a degenerate. She is burning everything down, and she's
$20 says he wouldn't say that to her face if her husband was standing there.
gloating and smiling while she does it.
He
and you know
wouldn't.
You told me she has no security. She doesn't deal with we have to deal with. She's a piece of she's making.
So this is the part that everybody said that, oh, well, Tim doxed. He didn't dox her. I don't know why people keep, I've seen multiple people say this today. He did not dox her, but he did let the world know that she doesn't have very much security. Now, that probably has changed already. It could have potentially done her harm, but I don't think it did.
Everyone else suffer, and all of these conservatives out there that send me these messages have no balls to call her out. More and more people have started doing it.
He's acting like an emotional woman. Y'all, do you realize how long it's been since I've been like this? Like, I'm a woman, and it's been years since I have went off like this. And the only reason why it I bet it's been probably like, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've went off like this. Like, I don't think I've ever done it like this. He's too emotional. But the only reason why I hit the roof, I had a legitimate reason to hit the roof. It was very personal, and it had to do with somebody who was doing me wrong. Yeah. But I didn't get on the internet and act like this and act like an emotional woman.
They send me these fucking messages. Good for you, Tim. Good for you, Tim.
Oops,
I wasn't the first person to do it. I'm not going to take credit for that. But don't
I forgot
DM
one.
me like I did something for you as you cower, scared that she'll put you on her thumbnail and claim you benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination, which she's doing to me right now.
Yeah, that was the...
I'm done with these people.
She has security, just not on the level of you.
Oh, yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier.
That's the thing about Tim, and I say it later. I think that's what he's the most upset about, is the fact that she put him on her thumbnail. You see what I'm saying? Like, and then her audience, a lot of her audience, I'm not going to say all of them, a lot of them did, they come for him.
In a suburban neighborhood with neighbors, shouldn't give two. No one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me. You went to her house, and she's...
For the record, I don't think anybody's really out for Tim. I think that could have been a psyop. Look, all these people that are claiming that they're being stalked and that, you know, they're having shots fired at their home, Matt Walsh, they got stalkers, Laura Loomer, Benny Johnson. I think it's all a distraction. Point blank, period. It's a distraction. And tomorrow night, I'm going to do a live stream, and I want you guys... Here's the thing about that, is it very well could have happened to all these people, but by who? By who? That's the question. By who?
Bullets fired at my property, and I have to go live in the middle of nowhere. And I got strangers coming up to my house in Maryland, breaking in. I got people showing up and beating up the residents who try to live there. How the fuck am I even supposed to sell this property? And, you know, it's all lies. It's all...
Brother, how is that Candace's fault? Please, someone answer that question.
Hypocrisy, and it is for the purpose of making money, and she does not live the way other people...
Tim had problems with people coming to his property all the time, and people trying to be violent, swatting him. He's had countless SWAT calls to the compound. So it's like, you're going to blame her for this when this has been happening to you this whole time?
And she claims she liked Charlie, she loved Charlie, and she is burning everything down that he built because she is evil. She is evil. And I'll say it again, this conservative movement is fractured, it's fried, whatever it is. Okay? Republicans are on track to lose the midterms. They were actually trending in the other direction until Charlie Kirk was murdered. Yeah. And this is the point, isn't it? The most effective political assassination in history, and thanks to the likes of the vile Candace Owens, she has turned Turning Point into the perpetrators of the crime that was against them. I don't get...
That's what I'm saying. Like, everything is political with him. Everything has to do with the political system, and it drives me nuts because it's like, but that's his role, right? That's his purpose. Okay, I've had enough of him. Oh, you've probably already seen it. I'm not going to sit here and listen to it. But Jeremy Hambly, he just can't stand it. He's just a little baby. Well, he's just a little baby. I'm going to show you what I mean. Hang on. Hang on, that was loud. My bad. Hang on. Let me swap. Let me get back up here where I was at. Okay. See, I have to keep moving these. And that's why it's annoying. It's because, dang it, come on now. Why won't it do it? Oh, it's because I'm hitting the wrong button. It's because I'm hitting the wrong button, you dum-dum. Retard. Come on. All right. Let me get Papa Bear up here on the screen. That way you can hear him and see him. Big Papa Bear here. He got his little feelings hurt.
For that debate, and it didn't happen. I was excited for her to talk to TPUSA because, you know, this is the penultimate end to her 15-week saga, you know, of nonstop shows. What she said, 14 weeks, 15 weeks since his death. So almost 100 episodes, something like that. You would think that she would want to go out there. Now, I want to point this out, and I've always said it, and I will be proven right. And I know
he just straight up lies in this video. He lies and said that she backed out.
That there's a 5% of people that watch my videos that, you know, really strongly agree with Candace, and that's okay. Like, we're cool. Maybe she'll end up being right. But I've always said this is about clout. Today, again, is yet another perfect
It is about clout because you stuck your nose in it, you got involved, and I'm going to show you what the result was.
example of that. And I think people are starting to turn on her now after turning down this debate. She was a big talker about doing this debate. She was demanding TPUSA's attention for months. She finally got it, and now she's pretending that she can't go. Let's take a look at this. By the way, reminding people of our Christmas items over at coffeebrandcoffee.com. Our advent calendar is all new for 2025. Double the product as last year.
Sorry,
we also have our regular gift box
side.
with the real cacao cocoa, our medium roast, chocolate covered espresso beans, and peppermint bark, and the 100% pure Kona with the peppermint bark and the golden scooper comes shipped in a stocking ready to gift. There's only 500 available
Would
of
you
each.
shut up? Nobody wants your crappy
promo code
coffee,
holiday10
dude.
to save 10%. Now, the
Nobody
debate,
wants your crappy
I think,
coffee. Nobody
probably
cares.
wasn't going to be very, like, I don't really think
He just talked smack about Candace, okay?
tried to pass off when she was still a leftist, and she's still a leftist now, by the way. Don't get it twisted. She's not a conservative, never was.
I don't know. I really don't care. If she is or she isn't, she's still playing a role regardless. And
Do you know that she got engaged to her husband after only knowing him for 17 days? Isn't that odd?
My pastor married his wife whenever they only knew each other for 3 weeks. So that's not unheard of, is my point. It's not. I'm sorry. It happens. It's rare, but it does happen.
17 days they get married. That's very weird.
Yeah, they've been together for a while now. Shut up.
It's almost like maybe I don't know, but I know that's not normal. And the guy's worth $150, $200 million on his own.
What I think is gross about this is that Jeremy sticks his nose in this, right? He sticks his nose in this because he wants the clout. He wants the views. And he knew that he would get views by talking about Candace. All right. And so it's like, and even Tim said it. He said, you have to be evil. Like, you have to be mean. You have to be mean in order to do this. Otherwise, you're not going to get the views. So that's it. Oh, crap. I moved it again. That's exactly what happened. He starts spewing, running off at the mouth, and it's like, who cares?
Using to have a conversation with me, and you know that I cared about Charlie.
Place.
Let me go to
TPUSA offered you the opportunity, and again, someone with $200 million who already almost certainly has nannies can't find the time with 2 weeks' notice.
Again, I will reiterate, she did not back out. Everybody knows she didn't back out. She offered to do a live stream, and yet Jeremy, he deliberately lies and said that she backed out, and that there were so many people on X too. I saw so many people saying that she's a liar and that she's this and she needs to put up or shut up and all of this. And it's like, you guys, you're straight up lying. She never said that she was going to be there in person. She said that she would just be willing to do it. And they never said, be here in person. It's stupid. It's just stupid. So anyway,
right.
he runs his mouth
or they're
about
Democrats
her.
just hate Republicans, and they're like eating up this going after TPUSA.
Hang on.
They hate like Republicans. They're like politically Hollywood. I'm pretty sure the only people that really watch her are either they hate like Republicans. They're like politically homeless, which could mean they lean left or right, or they're Democrats just hate Republicans, and they're like eating up this going after TPUSA.
I'm politically homeless by choice because we're done with this. We're done with this. I'm done with all of you. Like, we're sick of you. We're sick of you. We're sick of the PSYOPs. That's what we're sick of. You are serving a purpose. You are trying to distract us from the truth.
You have this too, like, you know, here, Candace Owens says, we don't care about your stupid midterms.
We don't.
28, and it's because she's a piece of shit.
She is.
Because instead of saying, guys, let's come together and figure out how to work together, she says the stupidest retarded crap.
She does.
And now everybody's running around.
Look what it says, though. People have always been right about her. She's not out there to help Trump and conservatives, but to hurt them. These people, this is what I can't stand about people that are so indoctrinated into the MAGA culture. They can't take the blinders off they don't understand people like me. They don't get me. They don't understand. Well, how can you be a Christian? I'm serious. I've had this question. Or they'll say I have TDS, right? Even though it's like, no, I think the whole system is rigged and y'all are all a bunch of fools. Every one of you. You're stupid for getting involved. For thinking that this changes anything. It doesn't. It will never change anything. It will never change anything. Because guess what? The things that are going to happen no matter what. No matter what. No matter what. It is prophesied. God's word is written. It is in stone. And it is going to happen no matter what we do. Okay? The only thing that I'm worried about is just protecting my family. Me and my husband protecting our family. And that's it. Who's in office doesn't matter. Because whatever agenda they need passed, it gets passed no matter who's in office.
And broken. For what reason? For literally what reason?
Because they killed Charlie Kirk in broad daylight, and we don't care about your stupid midterms.
We don't care about your stupid midterms.
We don't.
Well, you know who would care about your stupid midterms? You know who dedicated his entire life to...
Well, like I said, Charlie was more than likely a plant too, so don't really care, bro.
The last 5 weeks trying to destroy his company. You now say the thing...
He gets all up in his feelings about this, okay? He's doing it for clout, but I think that he did reach down in there and pull out some real emotion for this, because I think he's jealous of Candace. That's my opinion. That's just my observation of the situation, okay? That's it. Hang on.
People to take his company down. That's not how love looks. You aren't like, ooh, fire emoji, the song has my name in it.
He's such a loser.
I mean, I like, you read the comments, like, you know, the assassination of Candace Owens, so a fictional song, this
digital calendar lightning my... What's crazy is that X is full of people that are attacking her. Full. And I think a lot of them are MAGA. Okay, now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get out of that. We've already watched it. A couple days later, this is what Jeremy does. He posts a video saying, "This has broken me. I'm out and an apology." Isn't that great? He couldn't, it's like, stay out of the kitchen. If you know, like, why would you do this? Was like, no, right? It's like, come on, dude. Like, if you don't want the fire, you don't want the heat, you stay out of the kitchen. Why did you go to the kitchen? You're a fool. You're a fool. All right. It's like, you asked for this. You asked for it, and this is the result.
This is kind of an important video. I hope that it resonates beyond just kind of the surface level, the thumbnail and everything else, because
now he's all apologetic. Listen.
I'm just tired and I'm done. And I'm sorry.
Do you know why he's done? He claims it's not because of he claims it's not because Candace's audience went after him. What else could it be? What else could it be?
And I'm heartbroken. And there has to be a place where
I bet at least 10 to 15% of his audience, maybe even more, maybe 20% of his audience watch Candace and watch Jeremy too. That's my guesstimation. He claims that that's not the case. That I'm telling you, he claims it's not for views. It's not because of views. He's okay. We'll see about that. He claims he's not losing subscribers. I'm actually up subscribers. Yeah, because you covered this. Of course you're up subscribers. But now the chickens have come home to roost, as we say down here.
People get a respite from the constant black pill of what's going on right now in the majority of media, conservative media. Obviously, they don't consider me part of that. I'm not one of the cool kids. I'm not in the big groups with all these channels, but it's been just wildly clear to me for a couple of days now, and I'm going to make a change based on it, because yesterday was just a breaking point for me. Look, if you're a viewer of this channel and you've agreed with my takes about what's going on with, what the real reason is, what's going on with, TPOSA and Candace, cool. If you're a viewer of this channel and you think I'm an idiot, that I'm not awake, and that I don't see,
you're not,
I'm foolish for believing the official narrative, I think that is cool too. And
you are, bro.
Who really knows what's going to come out of all of this? I think it's clear.
Because I bet you haven't spent the hours, days that we have, because you're running multiple channels. You don't have time to do it, right? So on the surface level, of course, you are going to believe the official narrative because you haven't taken the time to actually look into it and research it the way that the rest of us have. What am I saying? He's pushing the same narrative. And it's for a reason.
Now, this whole get to the bottom of what happened to Charlie Kirk.
Like
yesterday
I said, trust no one. I don't trust none of them. I don't trust a word they say. None of them.
Inflection point to where it's clearly gone personal. And
what happened was a lot of people started lobbing personal attacks against him, and he couldn't handle it. Whenever he knew, that's the stupid part, Jeremy. You knew that was going to be the result. You knew it. You knew it. You knew that was going to be the result. So why did you go through with it? Well, it was worth the views. Oh, now he doesn't want to cover it no more.
I agree, and I partook in kind of the personal attacks too. I fed into that.
Yes,
that's not okay. That's not wrong. That's wrong.
Yeah. In that last video, you probably didn't see it because I was skipping around so much. But he personally attacked Candace too.
That's not unbiased. I admit that, and I never denied this, but certainly there are lots of questions around what led up to happening to Charlie Kirk on September 10th. But I'm done with it. I have to check out. It's gotten too dark, even for me. Maybe it's me getting older. I used to love this stuff. I used to love the Jack Murphy expose takedowns and all this stuff, but this just feels different to me. And I just don't think I want to be another dividing voice in this community over this. My viewers are everything to me. People might say, well, Jeremy, you're not talking about the same way.
Here's the thing. He made like 3 videos back to back about Candace, about the whole situation. And then right after, and then he posts like 2 other videos, right? Because he posts daily content, daily news, right? And then like within about 24 to 48 hours, he posts this one. So what do you think happened? He couldn't take it. It's like, don't do it. Don't kick a hornet's nest because they're going to sting you, dude.
You're losing subscribers. That's not true, actually. My channel is growing. The Candace Owens v. TPOSA topic is really the hottest thing going on.
Right, but that's why you did it. You did it. And look, that's the name of the game on YouTube. I don't blame anybody for doing it because I got to do it too, okay? But you did it all for views because he was whining, complaining, and crying about the fact that his views were down just a few days ago.
In this space. But yesterday, I feel like there was a line crossed. And people that want to continue their search for truth, and there's a lot of people, I believe, in that search that are not evil, that are not demonic, certainly.
Right. So what happened was, this is probably something else that happened, is that other people that he's friends with probably approached Jeremy and said, look, dude, what's wrong with asking questions? Because you're basically lumping me in with Candace whenever you made this video, when made all these videos, and you're insulting us just because we're asking questions. And I bet that's what happened. I bet that's part of it, is that, you know, his friends confronted him and said, why are you demonizing me for asking questions just because we want to know what really happened to Charlie?
And I think that I need to just let them continue their search. Everyone who watches my channel and who will see this video knows where I stand on it. I believe that Tyler Robinson took the life of Charlie Kirk, but I also believe Lance Twiggs was involved. I believe that there are serious questions around how multiple people seemingly had advanced knowledge and tweeted about it before the event happened.
Anyway, he just goes on a diatribe about the case, and
I'm too emotionally attached to this. And it's just tearing me apart inside. It's tearing my viewers apart, and we're accomplishing nothing. Sure, people are making a bunch of money. Sure, my videos on this do better than maybe a video talking about some crazy woke nonsense in Netflix, but I'm going back to that. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to continue to talk about Indian scammer H-1B.
Yeah, I really do think that that's a lot of it. He got bit, as we say. You know, he got bit. Somebody bit him, and he got confronted by a few people, and he did a heel turn. You know, he turned and said, okay, I'm not going to be able to handle this because everybody's coming for me. And, you know, and I think it was even this video where he says, oh, well, I didn't hawk my crappy coffee in it. You know, there's not a coffee brand coffee ad in this video. And it's like, oh, wow, one video out of, you know, thousands, you know, you didn't hawk your crappy coffee, because he hawks it in every video. So anyway, okay. Girl, I am going to have to get off here and go eat supper. I got to go find me some food. You like my background? You like my new background? Now, AI is terrible about spelling, okay? It's not good at spelling. Midjourney can't spell very much, so, right? Where's it at? Right there. It's supposed to say howdy. What does that say? How flora. How flora. It's like, forget it. Just leave it. I'm probably gonna like cut a picture out or something and put right there to cover it, or like get another, like find like a neon graphic, you know, to stick over. I actually want to, I'm getting ready to get a subscription for OpenArt AI, because don't tell nobody, but the only way to make money online in the next 10 years, next 5 to 10 years, is going to be AI. So, yeah. You like it? Yeah, I love it. I think it's a cool background. But I'm gonna throw it in the OpenArt AI model, and I'm gonna actually, everything's backwards. I'm going to have this like glowing. I'm gonna actually put it in there and get the, you know, make the picture, you know, have graphics on it to where this will glow. You know, my other lights will glow on the wall and behind me and everything. So anyway, it'll be cool. But I'm getting ready to, here the next month and a half, I'm going to launch, don't come for me. I'm just doing what I got to do to survive out here. My argument for AI, I'm going to tell you this before I go. I'm not going to go on a diatribe for 30 minutes over it, because I got to get out of here. Me and my husband sat down, and he's a lifelong musician, entertainer, singer-songwriter, TV host, TV producer. Like, he's done it all. Okay. He's doing History Highway and everything else, and still putting his music out. Still, he's filming music videos right now. Me and him had a serious discussion about AI the other day. And thank you. And I told him, I said, here's the thing, sweetheart. I said, if we do not adapt to what's coming, because according to this AI expert that has worked in the field for a few years, he said that we have less than 900 days. Right now, it's like 850 days, right? Because it's been almost 50 days since that interview was taken. So we have less than 860 days before the shift with AI happens. What does that mean? It means everything is going to be drastically impacted by the resurgence, the creation of AI. The entire job market is going to be affected. And it's not going to be just IT jobs, okay? It's going to be millions of jobs affected, all right? Here's the thing, I've said it before, that I'm totally fine with people creating AI images and music and videos as long as it's labeled. As long as it says altered content or AI generated content, I have no problem with it. As long as you know that's what it is. The problem becomes when the people try to pass it off as real. That's the problem. Okay. So, but my point to my husband was, it's an adapt or die technology. If we do not adapt to what's coming, then we're going to be left behind and we're going to be broke and we're going to be struggling. Okay. I said, so here's what I'm proposing. I'm going to create at least 6 AI music creators. I'm not going to say artists. I hate saying artist because my husband is an artist. Okay. And I feel like that's a slap in the face. I'm not going to call it an artist, an AI music creator. All right. I've already got 3 songs that are fantastic. Oh, and I'm using the same voice. And I've already got her name, and I'm getting ready to do a mock-up of her photos, of her album covers, of all of this, okay? So I've got to, in the next couple weeks, I've got to finish her album. I'm going to do 10, 11 songs for the first album. But my point is that I have to enter the market now before it becomes oversaturated, okay? Because in the next 6 to 10 months, YouTube is going to explode with AI music creators, okay? That's scary, but it's going to happen. I want to get in early. And I've already got some killer songs that I'm going to be putting out, and I'm going to link it directly to my channel, okay? I've already got her name, her stage name, and everything. And I think I'm talking about her as if she's a real person. She's not. She's me, but I'm just creating someone like a persona for myself, right? I'm going to create at least 6 to 7 different artists, but I'm going to start out with 1. Okay, there's an artist here on YouTube, and I know I've told you to look up all kinds of stuff tonight, but there's an artist his name is Kane Walker. It's an AI artist, I keep saying that, an AI music creator, okay? Whoever's behind it, whatever. They started posting their videos and their music videos in September, like mid-September. It is now December, and they have over 17 million views on their channel. And it is monetized. They got monetized within just a couple of weeks. So I told my husband, I said, if we want to get out of the slump we're in, this is what I'm going to have to do, sweetheart. I don't know what else to do. Because what he's doing is, it's working, but it's not working fast enough. It's time. It's time. And I'm going to put out my first album with my first artist. And I'm going to test the waters and see how it goes. And I'm telling you, it's some killer outlaw country music. Like, I'm proud of it because I wrote the songs, right? It's just the program singing it. But the voice is just, she's got this raspy, almost, it reminds me of what I would sound like if I actually was able to sing. Because I've got a deeper voice, right? But she has like this raspy voice, and just like a deeper, voice, kind of gritty. But anyway, I've got several songs. I'm gonna be doing this. Like, I'm gonna have to probably, I'm trying to film a couple videos. I'm gonna film like 2 videos tomorrow, and then that means I'll have 3 videos to work on in this next week. That way I can go ahead and get them out. But my point is that that way I can work on my music. Because obviously I'm paying for the program, but it's not that much. It's like $12 a month, so it's not bad. And Open Art AI, me and my husband he uses it too for a show a little bit for stock footage. We're going to pay for a year of it. Anyway, I'm just excited, and I think this is going to work because we can get into a business, into a market that has just now began. It's just started, because AI music a year ago sounded terrible. It was awful. Now, you just wait. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm so excited. It's awesome. Yeah, I hope it turns out. Yes, I did. Now, that is one part of it that I was adamant about. I'm not gonna lie though. Like, I use ChatGPT to be like, okay, here's my lyrics. Help me rewrite this last line. Like, it's not rhyming well with this one. Give me some ideas. And like, it would give me ideas. And sometimes I would either scrap the idea or I would just leave it, you know, or I would just be like, you know what? No, it sounds fine. So yeah, I'm still using it. Like, but it didn't write the whole songs for me. Obviously I did. I wrote them. No, I'm going to be creating her in the Open Art AI program that I'm talking about in Midjourney. You know, this screen, this background, you ought to see the photos that I can create in Midjourney. It'll blow your mind, of people that aren't real people. So, and it will keep the likeness in the face. And with the Open Art AI program, you can create music videos. And there's lip syncing with your song. You upload your music, right? You upload the audio. But see, here's the thing. I have to write all these songs, the next 7-8 songs, right? And then I have to throw them into Suno, the program I'm using, right? And then after I do that and then download the songs, I have to pay for Pro. It's a whole long process. I have to pay for Pro to get the actual file that I actually need. I know you are. I know you are. But I'm saying it's a big, long process. I've got to go through to get this done. But I have to copyright the music, right? Like, after all of it's done, I have to go in and copyright the music. And you know what that means. Like, I have to pay like $85, I think, to copyright the entire album. That way, nobody can take it from me. Nobody can steal my lyrics. And then if somebody uses my song or uses my lyrics somewhere, it'll flag in the system. It'll have a content copyright ID attached to it. That way, nobody can steal it, because it is technically mine. Because no matter what anybody says, like, I wrote it, you know, so I can still copyright it. Yeah. I'm sorry. I know I get too technical. I apologize. I know you're about my mama's age, and I forget. So it's fine. It's fine. I understand that. I know my mama doesn't understand technology either. Like, some of the things I try to tell her, and she's just like, what are you talking about? She's like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you just said. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Mom. She's great though. Anyway, honey, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to go find a chili dog or something. No, the way it works with Suno is, what you create. Like, the best way to describe it, to explain it, is once you pay for a subscription, that gives you automatic ownership. Isn't that crazy? It does. Like, it says it. I read the terms of service. I never do that. You know, like, I never read the terms of service, but that's right. Like, it tells you in the terms of service that you can claim ownership of these songs. You technically own them after you create them. So that means that I can go file the copy, like, you upload the lyrics in a separate file, right? And then you upload the audio in a separate file on the copyright, website. And then there you go. That's how you copyright. It's a pretty simple process, but it's like, not gonna come up with $85, And it's like, hey, y'all are killing me with this. Like, have to pay for all these subscriptions and then turn around and pay for copyright. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. So I think it'll be fine. So we'll see what happens, though. The reason why I'm going that direction was, obviously, I'm a country girl and I love outlaw country music, but there's been a huge resurgence and demand for outlaw country again. And Kane Walker's channel is a testament to that. Like, you go to Kane Walker's channel, CAIN Walker. You go to his channel and you'll see that people love that music. Like, they love it. So I can't wait. And, it'll be easy to create the lyric videos. It's going to take me a lot longer with the actual music videos of her singing. And I've already got her name. I'm going to copyright the name too. And I think it's a pretty cool name. And it's connected to my channel a little bit, just a little bit. But she's me, but she's not. She's me if I had a cooler sister. If I had a cooler, like, Native American sister, because she's gonna have Native American heritage. And yeah. Anyway, I know I run off at the mouth, and that's all I do. Holy crap. 3 hours and 39 minutes of me just sitting here flapping my gums and just, All right. Okay, girl. I'm going to get off here. This will probably process in the next little while. Hopefully somebody will watch a couple frames of it, you know. I don't know. My views aren't doing so well right now. So what I'm probably going to have to do, I'm probably going to have to go back to the John Deloney videos and the dating style videos because I'm getting views on those, but I'm not getting views on much else. So yeah. Thank you, honey. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully it'll go well. It'll be all right. You know, it's just a lot of work, you know, trying to juggle a full-time job and this. It's become hard. It's difficult, especially since I'm in that middle ground of just trying to find myself, trying to find my niche, trying to find what I actually want to do. So anyway, yes, honey. Yes, you're welcome. You have a good night too, and you take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Now I got to figure out how to stop live streaming, don't I? See ya.